Debate, Uncut, and After Show. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto, and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to new Patreon Vital Z. Hopefully I've said that correctly. Colton James, BG, Survive the Spin, FE Patriot, Steve on the Level, Thomas van der Zander, Gary Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Oh Wow, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, Twodwazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, JMels24, Unamento, M, Iron26, Endless, Golden McKinnon, Retro Bill, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B. Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W., Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Yun Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand across to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
I mean, I'm not going to ever say anything inside. I'm like, oh, guy's a jerk. But I do the exact same thing. I don't look very friendly either. So I'm just a hypocrite.
Oh wow. So
Yeah, which
basically,
I'm aware. I mean,
so basically, what's going on is your countenance is sharpening his countenance, and your countenance is the same as his. So you guys are just sharpening yourselves to
yeah.
be even more frowny. Uh,
Except he's probably definitely earned the right to have that sourpuss face all the time. He's a at least mid-60s police officer, so I'm sure he's seen stuff in his day. I don't know. And what am I? I'm a sous chef that doesn't really have that much stress in my life.
yeah, I heard somebody. There's somebody that's in our Discord that he got involved with the police force, but eventually he dropped. Because he's just seen that people got really hardened with that job, even if they try to be nice and everything like that, all the stuff that was going on, kind of like that Simpsons episode when Marge became a cop. She's like, "Oh, everybody's doing a
Oh yeah.
crime. Look at that, dog without a leash. That guy's littering." Remember that episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
haven't thought about that in a while, but yeah, I remember that episode. I really
well,
forgot he became a police officer.
yeah. Well, you quote the. I see you post a lot of Simpsons memes, so I figure you're familiar for that. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's not me.
no, you post enough Simpson memes. Maybe not that many, but I've seen you post a few.
I don't think I've ever
You
posted a
post.
single one in my entire life.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of the other guy. Ah, jeez, what's his name? I confuse you with the other guy. Adam. You're Vaxi, right?
Oh, come on. Yeah. Nothing against him. I don't think we even, I mean, we both have kind of long hair and a mustache.
No, it's something about your names, even though your names are not similar. For some reason, I mix you two's names up.
Yeah.
Not that you guys are similar. Maybe you guys, the way you guys sound,
I
maybe you guys
was,
sound a little similar.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Uh, I just can't win this morning. Like now I'm expecting to go home. My dog's going to bite me. So,
Well, if you, how do I put it? Well, don't think like that. If you think like that, how do I put it? Like think on the right stuff, Because if you think negatively,
yeah.
you know what I mean? It's kind of like self-fulfilling prophecy. You guys ever heard that term? Nathan Oakley
Oh,
uses
yeah.
it a lot, right? Watch this. I'm gonna talk to them, but they're not gonna get it. And watch, I told you so. And then they go start whatever, and then they come out of it and see, I told you so, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm always in a really negative headspace a lot of the time.
Well.
It's something I've been trying to work on forever since I was like a kid.
Well,
Oh, well. Like the worst part for me is like if everything in life is going relatively smooth, like all our bills are caught up, we have a little bit of money in the bank and stuff. That's when I'll start getting more like negative about things because I'm always anticipating something to push us off a cliff or something. I'm,
what? That
yeah,
I thought you were going in another direction like that. I thought you were gonna say, "Well, yeah, when our bills are caught up and everything like that, it's easy to be happy." But when they're not,
no,
then
that's
it's not easy. But you're the total opposite. What? That doesn't make sense.
well, I don't want to say too much, but like I have obsessive compulsive disorder. So like when stuff's like when there's nothing to worry about and everything's fine, my brain will almost start inventing things sometimes.
Not mine.
Nuts.
What's that the deal?
Not mine. I long for that day.
Actually, did you make that out?
I think he said he longs for the day that he doesn't get negative when things are going good, which is good.
Is that what he said?
I
Well,
think so.
just to be caught up, That sucks at the Bills.
Oh yeah.
I'm not enjoying that, and I don't want to be in a place where, oh God, all the Bills are caught up. I wish they could go back to the way it was. Are you crazy?
We're flat broke for the next couple of weeks anyway, because we just had to like all the money we did have saved up's all gone now because my wife's transmission just like exploded the other day. So that's like $3,000 that we don't even kind of have, but we really don't. Like if we don't spend any money on any bills, we'll have it. School payments, like my daughter's going to private school right now. That shit's expensive.
Yeah, that's 99% of Americans probably.
Yeah. No, I mean, really, it's just that the past calendar year we've been okay, but it's new. It's never really been this smooth. But then, like, one little thing, and it's like, oh, no, not anymore. No, we got stress.
Yeah, you're one catastrophe away from being broke.
Yep. But that's everybody.
Eli has the answer.
Fuck okay. No, I shouldn't say that. That's true. I'm not saying that he does that, but just saying. Uh,
Uh,
I don't know. Sometimes I just don't have any chill
well,
ever. Like I'm always either really high and like vibrating with like enthusiasm, or like really low, and there's no in between.
Do you read books?
No, I don't have the attention span. I mean, that's not true. I do a lot of reading, but not paper books. Like I read a buttload of other things constantly. I'm always looking at stuff. But like to sit there and read like a novel or something. No.
Have you heard of Robert Kiyosaki?
No.
Do yourself a favor and go and get Rich Man, Poor Man and have a read.
I don't know. I'll try to look it up. Hey,
Are you talking about Rich Man, Poor Man, that novel from the 70s that became a TV series with Nick Nolte?
No. I'm talking about a financial educational book by Robert Kiyosaki called Rich Man, Poor Man.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. See, this is the weird part. Like, I tend to be on edge. Like I said, like when everything's going smooth and like everything's comfortable and everything's caught up for the next week or two in advance and stuff like that's when I'll get more stressed out. But then once the bottom falls out, and it actually does happen, like the transmission of the car and stuff, it doesn't bother me because I'm like, because I had such high negativity all like the week prior when there was nothing going on. Once something finally does pop up, like I'm already that feeling of stress and anxiety has already been there, so it's not like overwhelming me because I was already feeling like that anyway. So I tend to be a little more nonchalant about it. I don't know, I'm a mental case.
I agree
I don't know.
100%, especially with the last part.
Yeah. Hey.
So why
Yeah,
would
the,
you?
the
Why would
stress
you?
of the stress of oncoming bills and payments is overwhelming, and it can just wear you down. It's a disease, you know.
Indeed. Why would you mention the book Rich Man, Poor Man, Jardo?
Why would I mention it?
Yep.
Because it's not only great reading, but it's a mindset, and sometimes just getting your mind right can help you through difficult financial times.
Let me see how my mindset works when I can't meet the rent.
See, that's the thing. My financial problems, it's extremely temporary. It's just this 1 week's going to be really, really strapped. But once we both get paid again this following week, we'll be back to relative normalness. Like, I don't know. I just
Another book that you might want to try is Seven Secrets of the Rich.
yeah.
You gotta have money.
If anyone out there has debts that you owe, such as lines of credit, credit cards, car payments, there's a really ingenious trick on how to manage yourself to be able to pay these debts off. But that's only if you like reading that stuff. You know, some people can't read it, I guess.
Credit cards. I'll never miss credit cards again. Yeah.
Problem is, in America, everything is up close to 40% in the last 4 years. That's the freaking problem.
Yep. Like when I go grocery
Well,
shopping, like I'll like have memories of my dad in like 2000 or 1999 complaining about the meat prices in the grocery store and getting bent out of shape. And I'll like sit there and I'll think about like mother. Like I wish I could grab him from then and bring him to here. Now look what I got to deal with.
Dude, I never,
Complaining
ever,
about 2001 grocery prices.
never, ever spent as much as I did in groceries this past freaking week. I wanted to cry. And it's not even full of its sickening.
well, what are we all going to do about it, folks? We're just
Pick
going to
up
sit here and
arms
moan
and
about it?
start. Pick up arms and overthrow the system. It's about time the common man unite and overthrow the powers that be and take what's ours. Who's coming with me? I can't walk yet, but who's coming with me?
I am. Just let me get a good night's sleep and I'll be right with you.
Gosh. I don't know. You go just open your hands and trust in God. That's where I'm at. I'm like, you're sovereign. You know everything. I put everything at your feet. I'm not going to wait for a money tree to fall down, but just open up some doors somewhere I can walk through and begin to earn.
Where you lost your job or lost like your way to pay stuff, and like for like 2 seconds you're like, what the, and like you wake up and you realize you haven't lost anything. You still, everything's still regular.
Yes, I've had that dream.
I just had it this morning.
You missed the dream. What was the dream?
Sometimes I have a
What was
dream
the
about
dream?
that I'm doing something else. And I wake up and realize that I'm not doing that. I have to go back to my job. So it's the most disappointing wake up that you've ever had.
You have dreams about your job.
Sorry?
You have dreams about your job.
Yeah, all the time.
I was going to say, for a second, I thought, am I not normal? I have dreams about doing this. This now.
I used to, if I
But
was
when you're
doing,
running 20 guys, it's pretty hard not to dream about something or other to do with work.
running 20 guys in construction.
No, I run a engineering company. So I have 16 full-time electricians, 2 engineers, and 2 administration staff.
Nice.
Not really, Neil.
Sometimes.
I've managed people. I did recruitment, and I was running temporary staff into people, temps, and I was all of their manager, and it just means you have to deal with all of their problems. That's all that means. Instead of just dealing with your own, you're dealing with 20 different people, or in my case, 40 odd different people's problems and issues that they tell you about for whatever excuse or reason that they felt the need to tell you about it. Normally because they'd done something wrong and wanted to excuse it, or wanted something out of you and you didn't want to give it them, and they'd tell you their issues. So it sounds like fun, but it isn't.
Depends on what you're running. When I run, guys,
Doesn't matter what you're running. Doesn't matter if I'm doing this now, or being a temporary consultant, or Jardo talking about him with his couple of administrators and electricians and such forth. Right? It doesn't make people are people, Neil. Having a lot of people around you, under you, or however you want to describe it, just means that you've got to deal with a lot of other people's issues. That's all it means. Now, I'm not saying that's bad. People are people, and in order to be involved in people's lives, that means involving yourself in their issues. That's life, and if you've got people beneath you, they often don't like you because you're above them in whatever fashion. So, it's, I don't know. Am I right, Jack? Just say yes, because I already know I'm right. I've done this. I've managed people.
You're wrong. I manage people too. It's different in the construction. Maybe it's different in the construction field.
Maybe.
But when
Well,
you
I
have a
did
job
think
to
that.
do,
I
You
did think
put
that.
guys.
I did think that until Jardo got to the two administrators, and then immediately my heart sunk because I thought maybe it's different, and maybe you're right.
When I'm running a job, there's a certain job that's got to be done. I put the guys in their best position to succeed. I'm not going to put a guy who's not good at making seams with carpet on seams. I'm going to put him where he's strong in. And I have no problem with that. I run jobs smoothly. I'm not saying there's no problems. Of course there's problems. But when I'm running the job, it runs smooth.
Thinking about it, the people that I used to put into temporary positions, some of them are blue collar and some of them are white collar. So you've got HGV drivers and forklift truck drivers and things like that. But you've also got secretaries and administrators and PAs. And the ones that typically would give you more aggravation were the ones that were doing the white collar jobs, not the blue collar jobs.
I'll give you a for instance. I was working for a company one time, and this guy that was running the job insisted on putting me on. It was a sheet goods job that's vinyl that they put in the hospitals that run up the wall about 6 inches, and you have to know how to do those out. They're called outside corners and outside boots. And I did not know how to do it. I did not want to learn how to do it. It was a waste of time. I could have been beneficial somewhere else, but he insisted on it, and the job suffered. And I wasn't the only one that was put out of position.
Maybe he did it to give you the experience you wasn't going to get because you didn't like that type. So he figured if he doesn't make you do it, you ain't never going to want to do that type.
Yeah, but it backfired because then guess what? I got the ticket. I ran a job and I put guys where their strengths were. I knew this guy was excellent at outside boots. You're going to do all of them. This guy was excellent at floating out a floor and patching and getting ready. You're going to do that. This guy was excellent about cutting up all the material and bringing it to the guys that need to put it in place and install it. Very
But
simple.
how do you get? Yeah, but how do you get excellent without? Like, there's a time where you don't know anything about that. Like when they first put him in that job, I guarantee they weren't excellent the first day. They had to learn.
Well, that's something I'm going to answer you. That's something that's got to be done in the beginning of your trade. See, when I got in the trade, there was guys that did flooring as far as carpet. They called it soft goods. And there was hard goods guys that did tile, ceramic, and vinyl. I came up in a different era. So now the era was you have to know how to do everything, but you got to get that right from the beginning. You're not going to get that at 50 years old.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, when you're older, it's a little bit it's a little bit harder to master certain things um, that you should have done when you're an apprentice. But yeah,
I could do them, but it's going to take me longer. When there's a guy over
Right.
here that's flying through them, I'm going to put them on them.
Oh yeah, if he's like 100 times faster than this and that. I mean, if you just got a job and you just got workers and you need somebody somewhere, that's one thing. But if it's an immaculate type job, you're gonna get paid so much, and you need this done by this day. Yeah, you get the guy you want to do the job correct. Yeah, that's usually how you do that. You don't want a guy doing your J channel or doing your stuff that he doesn't know what he's doing, and people complain you have a drip, or just anything. Carpet, the roofing, and linoleum. Doing the bathroom. You don't want to have this stuff leaking through. You don't want to.
And just put guys where they're strong at. Very easy to evaluate. All you gotta do is observe. Wow, this guy's quick and he's good. Nice, neat work. All right,
Most
he's
of
gonna
them,
be doing that.
yeah, most of them will tell you where they're good at because that's where they're comfortable. That's where, like, hey, I know I can do this fast and good. I don't get no complaints on this. You know,
That's what. That's funny because that's exactly how it was when this is back in the '80s when we'd wind up. The carpet guys would wind up on a hard good job like with vinyl and VCT, composition tile. We would tell foreman just put us where we could thrive, and if they were overwhelmed or they had no work and they had to come and help us, they would say the same thing. Just don't put us on no seams. We got to burn seams. It just that's how it was, and you put them mowing the carpet down. That's it. Do that all day. Why am I going to put a guy that knows nothing about carpet seams who just does hard goods floors on a seam? Makes no sense.
yeah, you could have them put down the tack board, stretch it. You can do all kind. Yeah, there's way more. There's lots of things to be done.
Yeah, mostly it was glue downs. Doing big commercial. It was never really tack and pad. It was direct stick. You
Right,
just
right.
glue the carpet down.
Kind of like linoleum. Yeah,
Yeah, and they were great. They would glue all day long. Fold the carpet back. They would be guys gluing all day long and had no problem with that.
it's the same idea as the hardware. Putting the glue down, put the glue down, keep going, make the pattern, and roll it down.
Now wood, that's a whole another ball game. Wood. Oh boy.
I've done every one of them except ceramic. That's the only one I haven't done.
I thought I thought I knew how to do wood until I got this big job and I couldn't do it myself. So I subbed it out to some guys. These freaking Russian guys came in. They knew how to do wood. I was like, wow, you talk about fast and good and knew what they were doing.
When you say wood, you're talking about floating floorboards.
Yeah, I'm talking about the one that they got at Home Depot. You buy it, it's already finished and stuff.
Yeah,
Floor.
floating floors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about panel flooring,
Talking
the
about
wood
regular
strips
wood
that you put
flooring.
together. You can have tongue and groove. You can have.
Yeah, tongue and groove, that's one of them. Tongue and groove was mostly that, the nail down or glue down. Um, yeah, I could do it. I could do your whole house. Take me a long time. Whereas if you got guys that are doing it every day, all they do is wood, they're gonna fly through that.
Right, they're going to be way quicker than you. They're just going to know the ins and outs. Yeah, yeah, 100%. But it's not hard. I mean, once you learn how to do any of it, it's not hard to do.
Yeah, speed comes by doing it every day, every day, every day, every day. That's how you get faster and know the ins and outs.
You get tired of doing it slow, like if you got somewhere to be and you're like, man, I got to hurry this job up. You figure it out.
There's nothing worse than that, where you know you can only go so fast and you got so much to do. You gotta sit there and cry. That's when I usually pick up the phone and say, "Hey, you want to make a few hundred? Take a loss on your income, but you know what? It gets done."
When any of your guys are doing floors, do they take the curve of the earth into consideration?
Hell no.
It's funny. These guys told me that one time. I think it was in Japan. They were like, "You don't realize it, but you're centering your floor from the center of the earth." When I get a straight line, and it could be 200 yards long, I'm actually doing it from the center of the earth without knowing it.
So you don't use the Haversine formula to finish the floors, no?
Nah, I usually finish them by sweeping them off. Clean up the area.
No, but when you're squaring off your floor to get it straight, to get it squared in a straight line, so you're straight. I mean, that could be this. We did one time. The longest area I ever did was like this huge warehouse, and I'd say it was about maybe 8 football fields, 800 yards. We had to get a straight line on that, and I don't know what that will come out to in feet. No, I do. I see 2,400 feet, right? Now, what if I wasn't here? You would be all by yourself in G plus.
Yes, Neil, that is correct. If you weren't here, I would be all by myself with the exception of the 10 or 12 people in Discord. That's correct.
Need to have a meeting about this.
There is no meeting required, Neil. Everything is good. We have a live show. If there was no one in G plus and there was no one in Discord, I would still go live at 2 o'clock and I would just talk. Now, there's a good chance that, let's say for the sake of argument, that I don't have something that I can immediately pull out my ass to talk about this morning, because I have no plan at the beginning of any live show what I'm going to talk about. But if for the sake of argument I couldn't keep this little babble that I'm going on now going, there's a good chance it wouldn't make any difference how many people are here. No offence to all you. You're not here to start my live show going, are you? I am. So what difference does it make?
Makes a difference. You want to start the show with a good panel on G plus and a good panel on Discord. Let's not play games here. How many years we're going at this now, and we can't have a decent crowd on both sides? It's getting ridiculous, and I'm going to put an end to this.
Look, it's sometimes you get ahead of what the show format is, right? Because I had it being discussed the other night. I didn't say anything. I was just more intrigued to hear how you lot discussed it, so I didn't actually say anything while I was listening. But in terms of the show title, right, Flat Earth Debate. So after the fact, everyone's chatting about the state of Flat Earth. It's not being broadcast as far as I'm aware. But the general idea as well, based on the conclusion of whatever discussion was being had, maybe the show should change its name. It's not a debate. Now, typically, if I was going to pipe up, I'd say, well, it's just a namesake now. We know the debate is over because we've won the debate. That doesn't change the fact that the majority of the Western world still think they're on a ball. Therefore, ipso facto, there is a perceived debate about the nature of Earth. Most people think it isn't the way it actually is. Most people think it's a ball that's derived from flat Earth measurements. Therefore, there's a perceived debate, and given that there's been several thousand shows, I'm going to suggest we keep the name. Regardless of whether or not there is or isn't a debate, that's the name of this show now. It's not a state of the circumstance, it's not a state of the affairs in 2024, it's just the name of the show. Ergo, it won't change. But neither has the show actually indeed changed. So each and every single intro, there's me talking about, if you want to talk about the nature of Earth, there's a link below, and you can immediately join the Discord server. Now, to my recognition, I don't know if there's any new faces in there today, not that I can take a glance of and see. I don't necessarily know everybody by name. Unless someone pipes up in the next 20 seconds, I'm going to assume that there isn't any new faces desperate to tell me how wrong I am about Earth being measured flat. But that doesn't change the nature of the bar. You know, if you watch Cheers from the 80s and go, okay, there are always the same characters in there. There's a very rare occasion when one of the characters that are regulars bring in someone new to the bar, and there might be an extra that floats in the background that doesn't have any lines. But for the most part, it's always the same people in the bar. But then, once in a while, the introduction of a new antagonist comes along, and suddenly the story moves along for that particular character's presence. Well, that's what it's like here. We like Cheers. Just because there's regulars that come and they like their beer in a certain way, doesn't change the fact that it is, in fact, an open door. It's a bar that anyone can stroll in when they hear, shock and horror, Earth's flat. Oh my God, I can't believe these people are on YouTube saying this openly live. Yeah, there's a door there. Just walk through it and tell us how we're wrong. Feel free. That's what we're here for. We'll educate you on your globe religion. No worries. But that is the purpose of the show. So how many people are in the bar when that happens? So what? I'll still be behind the bar polishing glasses. No worries. Sometimes I've worked in actual bars when they've been empty, Neil, when the doors first open and there aren't any alcoholics that desperately need to get through the door that morning. You know, you open the door and there's no one in the bar. It's not a problem. Go back to show number 5, when what you get for 45 minutes of the first 3-hour show is me every 10 minutes maybe appearing on camera and going, let's make an effort as I've got the live studio lights to turn on, but appearing on camera and going, just by the way, if you did want to join Flat Earth Debate, be sure to click on the link below and you can come and talk about how Earth, you know, in my opinion, is flat and you might want to challenge that. So me sat here in silence for the next 45 minutes can be avoided by you clicking on the link below. I did that for about, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months of me appealing on camera for people to join the show. And eventually people did. And the ones that wanted to challenge us got quickly dispensed with and never wanted to come back. But, you know, me going back to roots, if for the sake of argument, let's just keep this going to a different extreme. If Flat Earth fell so far out of favour, or alternatively, I pissed everybody off around me so much that no one wanted to stand my presence, I'd still press live at 2. And I'd still invite fundies with a globe belief to come and discuss their fundy globe belief with me and be put straight. You know, nothing much would change. I mean, those are very extreme circumstances, and I hope people still take pity, because if they didn't, there's a good chance I'd be shutting down shop because I couldn't pay the bills anymore. So that'd be a different set of circumstances. But hypothetically speaking, my doors will always swing open, Neil.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm working on a schedule now that I am home and have time, and schedules will be handed out and people will be here on time. You want to deal with the questions now?
Like I say, when I open the bar doors, there's no, why weren't you here immediately buying drinks? If the customers come and they like it, they'll come and they'll sit at the bar. Norm! You know what I mean? So, I don't know, Neil. You've got a very weird set of priorities in terms of the show from that perspective. And like I say, it wouldn't make any difference if I was just appealing to the audience on camera and otherwise to click the link. I mean, I'm glad I've got people like Righteous that actually keep things like Discord ticking along. Thank you so much, Righteous. Sometimes you get stick and called the peanut gallery and things, but believe me, it isn't true. I'm glad I've got a support network for people like him. Good.
I'll give you, for instance, you go to Jim Pandas when he starts, there's 30 people lined up there, all in order, right down the line. Why can't we have loyalists? That's all I'm saying. At least have at least 3 or 4 people to begin the show, so it's not like, okay, here's Neil on G Plus and a bunch of people in Discord. I know they're going to come in. I know that. We have no tardiness here. We're getting sloppy, I'm telling you.
I mean, I'm not. Mate, I've been dealing with a toothache for the last 2 months, and professionalism, man. And I will blow my own trumpet and tell you how wonderful I am. I can suck it up and still do a show, Neil. No, it was nice that at least 1 or 2 times I leaned on the people. I sent a message out on G+. I'll just share this with the audience. And I said, look, guys, I'm in a lot of pain today. Please come and support me. I'm going to run the show. But if no one appears in the G+, I'm just not going to run this live show. And then several people did, and they kept the conversation going to the best of their ability. And to the best of their ability, it is still my show. So I am still somewhat responsible and still am. Even now, I'm in a bit of pain. I'm not going to lie. But it's not a concern. You should just be chilling, just enjoying the ride, right? Just enjoy who comes by in the bar without any obligation to wipe any tables down, Neil.
Can't. I'm invested.
If you say so.
Neil, if you were the producer of this show, what would you do?
First thing I would do is I'd have at least 5 panel members to begin the show that must be there at the start of the show in G Plus side. And Discord, there's never a problem. He's always have about 5 to 10 guys there in Discord. That's all. Just at the beginning.
Why?
Appearances. It looks better.
Yeah, I'm not that fussed. I mean, how I look in this particular genre isn't that relevant. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm pretty vain. I mean, I probably could have had a tooth removed 2 months ago and I wouldn't be in any pain moaning about it, but in my opinion, that's not good from a vanity perspective. So, I'll deal with the pain instead in the vain hope that I'll keep a tooth. But that's because of appearances. But I'm saying, contrary to what is the reality of me, I'm not going to lie, that isn't my primary concern. My primary concern is that we've got the absolute best flat earth argument. And from that perspective, it's not about appearances, it's more about asking for, what's the word? It's like forgiveness, but it is support, I suppose, from the audience when I beg them to share the show. I'd rather be begging them to share the show because there's a very real reason why we would need to overtly beg for shares, and it's because we suffer censorship, right? Well, I don't know, when you're watching stuff that isn't necessarily going to reach everyone, and you're like, I'm glad I've got this information. Well, there's a huge amount of my audience specifically that will go, I'm so glad that I've got this information and I'm savvy in this arena, or I'm savvy in regards to Flat Earth. I want next man to have that same privilege. They will share the show for that reason. But if we were talking about something that wasn't necessarily as hyper-specific and nuanced as we do, I don't think we'd get that kind of generosity. We wouldn't have 50 people as we have watching a few minutes after starting.
I got you. Your diligence is, I'm not even questioning you, Nathan. You're right on point every time. You start the show on time every day. You persevered through a lot. You said in the beginning it was just you for 45 minutes in silence and inviting people in. That's just a testament to who you are. That's great. Now everybody's got to get that attitude.
But that was at a time when I'd had the discussion with my wife, like, I want to be a YouTuber. I mean, maybe not. I mean, I might be mixing my timeline slightly, but for the sake of this example, it will be. After the fact, I've said, I want to be successful on YouTube. And at that point, you give it absolutely everything possible to make what you're doing a success there and then. And for me, it was Flat Earth. So what is a success in terms of Flat Earth? Well, we've now can answer that question because we've reached a point where we can tell an audience how Earth is flat. Now that you go, well, isn't that obvious? Well, no, it might seem like that would be the obvious thing at the start of this journey. That isn't what we got. What we got was Feast of Nonsense. What lots of people still peddle is Feast of Nonsense. What we, or I, if I'm going to talk about me personally, do is present Earth as flat with evidence for that fact. Pretty simple stuff. And it turns out that with that non-revelation, because it's actually not that big a deal, it always was, always will be flat. That's just how Earth is treated, measured, flown across, sailed across, charted, mapped. That's how it's dealt with. So it isn't actually that big a deal, as weird as that may sound. But the skullduggery, the nonsense feast that we all fed upon when we got here, led us all down a conspiratard route of seemingly massive deception and Illuminati bullshit that seemed like it was a much bigger deal than perhaps it actually is. Because in reality, Earth is happily functioning as it always has, and people are still measuring it and flying across it and sailing across it flat. Nothing much has changed, so it isn't actually that big a deal after all, weird as it seems at the end of this path. But the perception of Flat Earth is still conspiratorial, and we're all still deemed as nutters. And unfortunately, we're bundled in with that perception because we are ipso facto Flat Earthers when we tell the story of how Earth is flat. Measurably, navigatably, let's read out this super chat. SR Vasco, you are making history here, guys. Thank you, Nathan, for all your hard work. Well, thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate the support. You are keeping the lights on here, SR Vasco. Thank you for your money.
Right. Rain, sleet, or shine, you got to show up, right? Like the mailman. If you don't,
Exactly.
Then that's, yeah.
Well, there's been a few times when I have genuinely been sick and I have missed shows. Don't get me wrong, I'm not that infallible. But by the same token, when I do hear about it. A lot of it from Neil. I'm only joking. Although I do hear about it from Neil. And people are creatures of habit, and I know that, which is why I like to keep a schedule. People get into a habit of watching the show. They want the show to be part of their day. And if it isn't, they get a bit narked about it, to be honest. You know, you owe me a show today. I'm a member. You're like, well, actually, I'm very sick and can't talk. You owe me a show. I paid. No, they're not like that. I'm just joking. But you get the idea.
Yeah. Last topic, was that about like the moon?
I don't know what it was. I'm just semi-distracted for a second. Can you hold the fort for a second, Neil? Now's your moment.
No, it was not about the moon. I don't think it was.
Oh, well, I want to ask you a
No.
question. How mainstream do you think it is now that people know we didn't go to the moon? Like, you know, the same way with the flat Earth. How mainstream compared to people saying, "Oh, they're nutty," you know?
Oh, I think it's a lot more than people think. There's got to be, if I was to put a percentage on it, I would guarantee that more than 60% of the people, just in America, know that that whole moon landing was bogus. Now, I don't know if they know why it was bogus, not how we know that it's a violation of first law of thermodynamics. You know, you can't have gas pressure without containment. And how is this happening? They don't know that, but they know it's bogus.
63.4% of all statistics are made up on the spot.
They do it.
One way you can tell how mainstream it is how many mainstream documentaries are there about the subject. And it seems like the moon landings have hit like a certain extent of a mainstream documentary, right?
I think it's the age too.
Like for example, that the what was it? That moon documentary, that old one where they wouldn't confess they went to the moon. Isn't that a mainstream documentary?
You're talking about astronauts gone mad?
Something like that. Isn't that a mainstream
Something
one?
funny happened on the way to the moon? That
No,
one?
it's the one that
Yeah,
followed
that
it
one.
up where he goes around interviewing them.
Yeah, isn't that a mainstream documentary? Relatively
No, it's a
mainstream?
Bart Sibrel documentary.
Yeah, Bart Sibrel.
Is that guy a mainstream guy?
Well, I mean, he's a journalist, generally speaking, but after the fact, according to his story, anonymously receiving moon landing footage that perhaps might not have been intended for him, or maybe it was, but definitely wasn't NASA's intention to send it him. Either way, he gets hold of this footage and exposes it on a documentary called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. And he shows and exposes what he calls low Earth orbit, just people up in an aeroplane, in a plane with a round window that's got all the lights capable of being shut out, and then a cutout being put up against the window to make what is observed to seem like a spherical Earth with a terminator line on a black backdrop of space. And then constructing this from whatever they are in. Might not even be in flight for all I bloody know, but that's what he's presenting as his narrative in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon by Bart Sibrel. Following that documentary was Astronauts Gone Mad, which is when he goes out and gets kicked in the arse by... Someone tell me who he got kicked in the arse by. Oh, I've forgotten which astronaut it was. Was it Michael Collins that kicked him in the arse?
Yeah, I think so.
One of them kicked him in the arse because he said, swear on the Bible that he went to the moon. He said, get out, you'll hear from my lawyers, and kicked him in the arse.
One of them punched him in the face too.
Yeah, he also got punched. Yeah, I mean, that was a different... Yeah, there's very rare... There's different occasions where he confronts these astronauts, asks them to swear on the Bible that they actually went to the moon, and they didn't want to do it. I think Buzz, it's no problem, I swear on the moon. And maybe one other, I can't remember. It was a long time ago I watched that documentary, but it certainly isn't mainstream, to answer your question.
Let me ask you this, Nathan. If you were to ask people from the age of, let's say, 15 to 30, what do you think they would say, as opposed to people from, say, 50 years old up to 80?
Yeah, why don't you speculate about this stereotype in a age-specific category there, righteous? What the hell, Neil?
Well, because the 50-year-olds that 50 to 80, they're going to tell you that it was done. It's an American pride thing. We have the younger generation who's seeing it for what it is, a bunch of bullcrap.
Okay.
I can give a little bit of insight into that, Neil, in that particular age group. So, one of the schools that we work at, they actually do a class called Conspiracy Theories, and they touch on all of this stuff And in the year 8s and 9s, which would be 14s to 15-year-olds, they do a quiz in relation to do they believe that people went to the moon. And when I first started working at the school back in 2012 till now, 2024, the amount of people, the amount of kids that have said they don't believe that we went to the moon has gone from 90% for to 10% for. So it's 10% of kids now at this particular school think that we went to the moon, and 90% don't. And that's in the conspiracy theory class that they touch on.
Very
Right, can I
interesting.
jump in back to
There you go. That's interesting
yeah,
statistics. Go ahead, Righteous.
right, what's your basis that it's not mainstream?
Because what who cares? Does this
Can I give you
matter?
my basis? I just
It's
pulled up
just
the
a
wiki
word.
page and the
In
New York.
mainstream
Well,
means it's on the BBC, on the news,
let,
being talked about.
yeah, let me answer. Right, because I pulled up the Wikipedia page on the funny thing happened to the way to the moon, and the New York Times commented on it, the Birmingham News commented on it. That's mainstream.
Well, because a newspaper or two commented on it, that makes it mainstream, does it?
Well, it's a movie, right? It says it's a movie, and newspapers commented on it. That would be mainstream by definition, wouldn't it? Movie and people commenting on it,
I mean, I
like
guess so,
newspapers.
if you like.
Well, just to answer D-Monk's original question, if something, because my reply was, yeah, you can't trust statistics, right? They're all made up on the spot, pretty much, it seems like. But if something is mainstream, depending on how mainstream something is, of course, this may not be that mainstream, but it's got a blip on the mainstream radar. But generally, how mainstream something is how out something is. Does that answer your question, D-Monk?
How out
Yeah.
something is based on how mainstream it is. You're calling consensus mainstream. Are you conflating these two things? Because mainstream can put out
Well,
equally parts propaganda and true information in one story. So how
right, but it's
mainstream
still,
something is, I don't know. It's just what this word you've latched onto for some reason. Mainstream. Maybe I've
well, look
used.
at the
What, we going fishing or something? As QE would
well,
say.
look at the JFK. Look at the JFK. There's so many movies on it and stuff like that. Everybody confesses to that because it's out there. It's out in the mainstream, therefore mainstream.
Yeah, but I'm sure
I
there's
think it's
plenty of. By
exposure.
comparison, there's plenty of documentaries that people would claim are legitimate about JFK. But the movie JFK, Kevin Costner, would be mainstream, wouldn't it? Back and to the left. Right? All that shite. Yeah, that's mainstream, in my view. But who cares how we define mainstream? I don't know why you've latched onto this word.
I think he's saying more exposure. I think he's using mainstream for just like more people seeing it, more just a greater number of people seeing the thing somehow. I think that's what he's using for the
Yeah,
idea of
that's
the
why I asked
mainstream.
him if
Are you talking about
conflating mainstream with consensus.
Correct.
Are you
Well,
talking
yeah,
about hitting
mainstream is
critical
tied to
mass?
consensus.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries, real Neil.
Go on, Neil.
Are you talking about if the subject hit critical mass where it's like tipping point or just hitting mainstream?
Well,
Tipping point.
yeah,
Oh God,
critical
this is
mass.
driving
Whatever's
me
in the
nuts.
mainstream is
Who cares?
whatever is.
What does tipping point mean? Why are we introducing these wishy-washy, vague terms to define how well we're bloody doing? Why do you care either? Yes, we are beyond the tipping point. We're just beyond the shadow. Does this meaningless tripe mean anything to us?
Yes, it does. We're running a flat earth debate show. And the more people that come to a knowledge of this, it's going to hit the tipping point and over, and then the paradigm will shift and change. What
Who
the hell are we
cares?
doing here anyway,
Right.
then?
If you care about the tipping point, just share the show. Listen to that little speech I had earlier and just pay attention to that bit. If you're
Do that
deeply
every
concerned
day.
about tipping points and consensus and mainstream, if you want to term it in that way, then just share the show. Share it with as many people as possible. Because it's never going to get shared with them by YouTube algorithmic love, as we well know. But you are the antidote to that as an audience member. So if you're like, when will we reach the tipping? But share the show with everyone. Put it under everyone's, this show, my show. Then they'll know Earth is measured flat. That's all we talk about. And there's no drama about it. In fact, quite the opposite. We're trying to deflate the drama out of it. It's not that big a deal. It always was flat. That's how we measure it. That's how we navigate it. That's how we mapped it. That's how we chart it. That's how we build on it. That's how we reference it. That's how it's used. It just is flat. It's no big deal. It's not that big a deal. Don't worry about it. Get on with your day. There you go. Share the show if you want a tipping point or a consensus view about flat Earth. Me, I just know that I know it's flat. That's how it's functioning. And anybody who's using Earth in any capacity that's useful knows it's flat also, but might also simultaneously have a globe religion like the rest of the Western world, which they're perfectly entitled to. Now, anybody who comes here, hence share the show, will also know it's measured flat. Good for them. But I'm not too concerned about a tipping point. I'm not the hidden hand that wants control over the world and wants them all to see it the way I know it is. It just is the way it is, and I know that. And if you want others to know it, just share this show. But you're all worried about tipping points and consensus, and when will everybody know what we know? What will change for you if they all did? Let's pretend that everybody knew it was flat today, now, as we speak and discuss it. So the show still exists, and I'm like, yeah, well, I want to still talk about it. Only 3 years ago, everyone thought we were on a globe. Wasn't it funny? Now everybody knows it's flat. Isn't that great? Should we reminisce about how stupid idiots used to talk it was a globe? Because that's what my show's still called, Flat Earth Debate, right? Even though it's definitely not a debate anymore. Everybody knows. Okay. And does anything change for you, Neil? You still got to sort your back out and get your car sorted, new one, and get another job and support the family. All that doesn't change. Same here, Neil. Everything. So it's like, well, I've only got a limited time here. So life is generally good. You know, I've got a very supportive crowd on YouTube that, you know, keep my lights on and keep me making shows. So nothing much changes. It's not that big a deal. It doesn't matter if there's a tipping point or a consensus turn, because nothing would change, would it, Neil?
I see what's happening here. I see what's happening. You're in a little bit of fear that if it hits critical mass and a tipping point, your show's not going to be relevant anymore. I understand that. We will become a teaching channel, okay? We are already. It's under education. Am I correct?
Yeah, that would be nice. See, that would be something I could aspire to. So if that was the case for me, I could look at it as, okay, right, well, there's been lots of Globe Earth educational channels that have got millions of views and make a plenty good living, which I don't currently. But if everyone knew it was flat, then this would just become the same educational channel about Earth and its measured nature, that the Globe Earth channels that would fade into obscurity because they're not useful anymore would be replaced with me as a long-standing declarer of how Earth is measured flat. Suddenly it is a genuine education channel that has a worthy share factor from the YouTube algorithmic point of view, and suddenly I can make a living from it. Well, nothing would change, right? So if nothing changes either way, other than potentially I could replace the education system in Globe Earth with Flat Earth, if that moved from them to me. But that's hypothetically speaking. But right here, right now, it doesn't actually make any difference. That's what I'm going to be talking about in 2025 moving forward. It's not that big a deal. It always was flat. If you happen to know that the religion you've been born and bred into is a globe shape that came from those measurements, and you know the origin measurements, as on screen now, creates a surplus to requirement ball wrapped around a flat plane you're actually using, if you know that, then good for you. You know the origins of the Globe Earth religion too. And you don't have to go around telling people that they're not on a globe if they want to believe they're actually on that reified model, as depicted on screen now. You can just leave people to it. If they want to believe they're on this when you're in it measuring flat planes, surplus to requirement, the globe might as well be a protractor because that's all it represents, giving you a perspective view of the sky in a celestial sphere, off a flat plane in all instances, then when you know that, there's nothing else to know about this subject. You know how Earth is measured, it's flat, and you know how the globe is created from the flat Earth measurements. What else is there to do?
Continue to teach.
That's what we'll do.
Continue to educate.
Exactly what I said at the beginning of the show.
So we get back to share the show then, I guess. I guess you're right.
Yeah, 83 people watching. Are we halfway through the show yet? Yeah, just gone halfway through. About the right number of people. We'll get to 100 before we end. I'll be pleased with the number of people that have come and gone.
No,
Got-
that bothers me. That bothers me. You've been at this how many years? And all we can get is 100, 120. There's got to be something we could do to get this out to more than 100 people watching.
Well, Brian's here now. He's a big pull.
I
Brian,
have a
what do we got
question
to
for you,
do,
Nathan.
Brian?
Say
Yeah,
again?
hey, Nathan. How do I go? Yeah, you know this thing that you're trying to push, this nothing would change nonsense.
Nothing would change nonsense. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Navigation would fundamentally change if everybody knew we weren't on a ball, would it, Brian?
I think you're missing the point. To
That'd
tell
be a
the
no.
audience that nothing would change is dishonest.
He's missing it big time, Brian.
Yeah, because there's several problems. Number one, you don't know what's going to happen. Number one. Number two, you could pretty say you wouldn't need to be a betting man to say that there will most definitely be change in the world. What that change would be, I don't know, but things
me?
will most definitely change.
For me?
Yeah. For you, you're punting this out to an audience, right? That you're going to tell everyone nothing's going to change for 2025. Depends on who you are and what your views are.
I didn't say anything's going to change. That's not how I phrased it. It's not that big a deal.
That's how people are perceiving it.
Nothing's going to change.
There's a bigger problem.
Just let me say the statement. It's not that big a deal.
It depends on who you're talking about. It could be an unbelievably life-changing massive deal for someone else.
Not for me.
Not for you, but that you can't. That's just you speaking. You're not stating that you're just speaking about you. You're talking about you're trying to punt it out to an audience that nothing's going to change, as if it means for everybody.
There's a caveat.
You can't say that.
Let me just stop stringing you along. Nothing much changes, or nothing changes at all when it comes to how Earth functions. How Earth is measured has not and will not change. Earth is measured flat and always was. It's no big deal. It'll continue to be flat and measured as such. When I say it's no big deal, nothing much is going to change. I'm talking about the measurement specifically because it always was, currently is, and always will be measured flat. That's just how it is. Ergo, no big deal. What's going to change when asked? Well, nothing much. It always was flat. That's how I'm skewing that to nuance it.
Yeah, but that's not how you're selling it. How you were trying to sell this, maybe you've changed your position. How you were trying to sell this a week or two ago to me, right, was that to the people who think there will be huge change in the world, right, to those people who are worried about, you know what I mean, or the guy who says, and so what would be the difference if it was flat? It's that guy that you're going to be telling that nothing's going to change. Well, that's not true.
I gave a reverse example, but yes, you're right, but just with a slightly different slant on it. I was talking about the guy we talk to, who when the information generally is presented to him or her, says in response, what difference does it make? I've still got to go to work tomorrow. And I go along with him. I lean into that, I say, and go, well, yeah, it always was measured flat. It is currently being utilised flat, and tomorrow it still will be a measurably flat Earth. So if you want to consider it along those lines with that nuance of a guy saying, what difference does it make to me? Well, not a lot. No big deal. It always was flat. And functionally won't change if you know tomorrow or don't. It doesn't make any difference. It'll still be measured flat. So who cares from that guy's point of view?
Yeah, but you just kind of, when you're saying to someone it's measured flat, it doesn't matter. Everything's just going to be the same.
It will be.
You're trying to sell, you're selling Yeah, but you're just stating a fact that you understand that they don't fully understand. Like, if I go by what what you've been stating, right, and this 2025 thing, which you say that you're going to be pushing this agenda in 2025, why you decide to have an agenda, I don't know. But that's on you, it's your show. At that point, based off of your sentiment, you may as well stay on the globe then. I
But
might
it's
as well
not.
go back
Stay.
to the
Hold on.
globe.
I can
You might
stay
as
in
well
the.
go back to the
Hold on.
globe.
Hold on. I
What's the
can't stay
point?
on the globe. I never.
What's
Hold
the
on.
point of your, what's
Hold
the
on.
point of your show?
Hello. Yeah, got that.
It's become pointless at that stage.
I got that. Yeah, I can stay in the globe, but metaphorically or in terms of reification, I was never, and you were never, and nobody is ever on a globe. Ever.
Yeah, that's correct. But the point I'm making
How could I stay
is,
on it, as you suggested I did?
what? Why? Yeah, but I'm not. But why? Okay, right. Wrong phraseology. But what's? Even that doesn't matter though. That I phrased it wrong.
Oh, it does, because, no, you
But
see,
it
that's
doesn't
what,
matter.
it does matter.
Matter based off
Hello?
of your sentiment.
Yeah, that's
Based
the
off of
point.
your agenda for 2025, it doesn't matter.
No, that's the point. At the point that you understand this information, right, as I've just nuanced, you then know that you were never on a reified globe surface, and the maths would indicate your utilisation of it from within the globe. So upon understanding this stuff, that's the point that I say to the guy, yeah, it don't make no difference. You can still believe, if you wish, that you're inside a globe, but you can't transition back to what you put to me. Well, you might as well stay on the globe. I never was on it, now I understand this information. That's the point. So moving into 2025, I still want every little detail of this information, how Earth is measured flat, how the globe was created with those measurements, to be instilled in every audience member. But once you know that, as you phrased it to me, you can't go back on the globe. You never were on a globe, were you? That mathematical creation that you utilise from within, if you choose to extrapolate out very useful flat Earth measurements into a globe surplus to requirements, you can choose to do that and believe you're in it if you want to, now you have this knowledge. But life won't change. We always measured Earth flat and always will. So you can still take your nonchalant, what difference does it make attitude to relinquish the notion of having to look into it, because that's why they fob you off with that notion. Oh, what difference does it make even if it was speculatively flat? No, sir, it is flat for all of the reasons I'm going to educate you with. But it still makes no difference to you. It always was when anybody navigated it previously. And if you go on a plane today or sail anywhere, and tomorrow it'll be no different. It's still measured flat, even if you want to retain your globe belief after I've passed this information to you. No big deal.
You just said something. You
Go
just said something.
Go.
When you're speaking to that person, to that guy, you're saying it won't make any difference to you. You can't tell them that.
I can in the vein that they... let me address you. God, you keep putting these things and keep waffling. You won't stop. I heard you and you're not stopping talking after you've put the thing to me. Yeah, I got you. Thank you. I just like to respond without having to fight my way through you after you've put it to me. Yeah, I got it.
To me, like I'm getting in the way of an agenda.
I can in the sentiment of the guy when he puts it to me that I've still got to go to work tomorrow. Along those lines of the guy that I suggest, well, no, Earth's flat, mate. Oh, yeah. And with a tone of, if I was to look into this and it was speculatively flat, what difference would it make? I've still got to go to work tomorrow. Well, I can put all of the information to better educate that guy in Earth, sphericity, origins, flat Earth, that is, and at the end state as he stated, his sentiment will be echoed to him or her. It still makes no difference like you suggest, sir. You've still got to go to work tomorrow, as have all the sailors who will navigate Earth flat, as have all the planes that go into the air and deal with a flat plane beneath them. Doesn't change for them and it won't change for you. Still got to pay your mortgage. You just lean into it. That's what I'm driving at. For him, that guy.
Yeah, but did anyone make the claim that he wouldn't have to go to work the next day?
No, but plenty of people say, what difference does it make?
Yeah, massive difference. But you're trying to tell him.
Why try and appeal?
From your point of view, they're not going to they're not going to be taking on board what you're trying to put across.
It's just measurements. That's how it's measured.
They're not thinking that they're thinking this guy's trying. If I was that guy, I'd be thinking. If I was that guy, I'd be thinking, this fella's telling me nothing's going to change. That will either bring me two directions. Number one, I will either go, well, I might as well stay thinking I'm on a globe then. Or number two, I will go, what does it mean nothing's going to change?
Earth will always be measured flat.
It will either be a completely nonchalant hand wave away and no interest in the subject again, or it will be him getting angry because you're telling him nothing's going to change when a lot is likely to change.
Maybe it won't. Maybe he'll just carry on paying his mortgage and making love to his beautiful wife. Who cares? For him, it might not change anything. My point is that that river flows both directions. For me, when this subject is being discussed with next man, hypothetically in this example, it flows for me also. What difference does it make to me if you know how Earth's measured or not? I don't care. I've still got an e-beg to pay my electricity bill tomorrow, whether you, fundy globe believer or anti-flat earther, know it's measured flat or not. It flows both. What difference does it make to me as the person appealing to this next man, if they know or not? What difference does it make to you if you convince... Who did you last debate with, Brian? Whoever. Mr. X.
Whoever, I don't know.
Yeah, whoever you last discussed this with. What difference does it make to you if you convert them? If they then, at the end of the discussion, go, oh, wow, thank you, Brian. I mean, this, heaven forbid, would happen. It wouldn't. Thank you, Brian, for educating me in my error. I now appreciate Earth is actually flat. Thank you so much. Okay, great. Take it from a positive stance. What difference does that make to you when they toddle off and you never hear from them again, Brian?
Hold on, Brian. Hold on.
I asked Brian.
All right, I'm after Brian.
I just managed to put the question to him. Keep it going.
Yeah, this is dodgy, Neil. What difference does it make to me?
Yeah.
The question, how has this got to do with me? You're the one going to be telling people nothing's going to change. And they're going to hear, all they're going to hear is that. And that's going to be painfully false.
No, you're taking in some isolated example that I've got with a whole set of circumstances around it. In the set of circumstances, the discussion comes up and the hand wave you get from the guy is, I'm still going to go to work tomorrow. What difference does it make? Yeah, well...
Maybe not.
Oh, my God. Yeah, can you carry on, Neil?
You're not addressing the main point. You keep saying nothing's going to change. Let me ask you a question. The whole world tomorrow knows Earth is flat and outer space is fake. I know an agency that has ripped off many people, and maybe we can get some of that money back, and maybe you don't have to beg to pay your freaking electric bill, all right? Because there's a company out there that's draining the taxpayers' dollars.
Oh, my God. Well, then spend your useful time on Earth litigating with some big corporate entity, because that'll be a worthy endeavour. Oh, my God. Maybe you'll get some of your tax... Maybe you'll get $20 over your lifetime back from them, Neil. Maybe.
You're downplaying it.
That's a lot of money. You're getting in the way of the agenda. This is only going to get you banned off the show, but nothing's going to change.
What are you talking about? This is great.
Bring back to, I wish 2022 Nathan was back.
What are you babbling about? This ham-handed an attempt at undermining me with an attack. Like, past Nathan's bad. Oh, I'm getting rumpus by Brian. No, your ham-handed attack attempt won't succeed. My caveat example... No, I am going to get rumpused. Go ahead, John.
I was just saying the difference in what y'all are talking about, you're not really talking to each other's points. Nathan's pointing out that for an individual, knowing this information, it isn't going to change the world. That's true. But Neil took it to if everyone knew, which that would change the world. You're talking about a very slow sliding scale of information as it's disseminated. You're not. We may never see the effects of this.
You're wrong.
John, There's an
I'm trying to
agenda at
figure out
play.
how to all
Don't get in
five
the way of
voices
it.
how you heard John.
Let me just caveat. Right, John, you just said that if everybody knew tomorrow, it would, quote, change the world. Correct? I know I am. I listened.
Well, it would change the political landscape.
Sorry, do you need to just change that linguistically, do you? Just because you know exactly what I'm about to say. So he didn't say it would change the political landscape. Political landscape's certainly not what we discuss here, is it? Shut up, Brian. You know what's coming too. Everyone knows what's coming suddenly, don't they? Everyone wants to talk. So, John, let's just try that once more. White Knights, please hold your tongues. It would change the world, would it? If everyone knew. No, you are wrong.
No. Yes, I am wrong.
I love it.
I used the wrong.
Then what are we
Thank
doing
you,
for?
John. I'll take it from here. I'll take it from here. Thank you. Thank you, White Knights. Thank you. Thank you. The winner will continue on his point.
Don't get in the way of the agenda.
Don't get in the way of Nathan making a concise point that's on topic. Yeah, nothing will change. Absolutely nothing. The world will not fold or unfold tomorrow just because you, Joe Bloggs Normie, find out that Earth is functionally flat. It was yesterday, functionally flat, and it will be tomorrow. Nothing will change about, quote, the world. It will remain as it was, and it will remain that way. Regardless if you knowing, or you, as every ant in the anthill knowing. Who cares if you know or not? It makes no difference. The world will not change. Now, in this vein, nuanced... Oh, I'm not going to get to caveat my point, getting rumpus by the sick man.
It's the pushing of the agenda, not the caveating of an
agenda. It's a fact. Nothing will change. That's a fact about the world.
Why do I got to be labeled the sick man?
Neil, what Nathan is trying to say, right? This will break down Nathan's massive, supposed brilliant point that if the Earth was known to be flat tomorrow, trains will still exist. Well, F me.
Trains?
Said y'all are kind of talking past each other.
I understand what he's saying. The world has always been flat, yes. But you can't tell me that this system will not change. Of course it's going to change. It's a paradigm shift.
Now we're getting somewhere. What's a paradigm, Neil?
Okay. Did it not shift when the whole world was
What's a paradigm?
supposedly a globe?
What's a paradigm? Is a paradigm the world, or is it a perception of something?
Yeah. You're missing what I'm saying here, Nathan. You're doing it deliberately.
I'm not missing anything, I assure you. I'm going to shout out a super chat, though. Oh, hold on. I'm going to be accused of having an agenda if I want to shout out Goldie. Shout out Goldie for the super chat. It says, excuse me, it would change my world, full stop. My poor husband would know for sure that yet another thing his wife enlightened him about was in fact true. Girl power, go for you. Good for you, Goldie. I'll just bring it up on screen so people can see how it was written. Thank you very much for the super chat. And indeed, you are in fact female, Goldie, so I'm pretty sure your husband knows that you are always right under all circumstances. So that goes without saying. I don't know why you'd see that as an achievement. He already knew you were right. You're a woman. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, Brian.
No,
you were saying something about me having an agenda as opposed to just being correct or something. Go ahead.
Brian, I don't think we'll ever get that 2022 Nathan back on QE show. He was outstanding.
He was too good. That was what's wrong with him. He was too good.
Well, what it is...
Something happened in 2023 and we don't know what it was. Sorry, John.
Nathan's right about the world not changing. That is correct. But the people and how they perceive this world change.
John, didn't you once say, hold on, didn't you once say that maybe it's good that they have people on a globe? I remember you used to say that. There were reasons why it's better that people think we're on a globe.
Me?
No, John.
I've said that.
2022 Nathan wouldn't have said me.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
there's
John.
this sociopathic people climb to the highest levels of leadership within our societies. And that makes our societies dangerous inherently. Maybe this is the best thing for that sociopathic structure.
To Goldie for gifting a membership.
I ask a question of John, Brian, and Neil.
Yeah, go ahead, Jardo.
If I was appointed the person to raise the status of Nathan's channel, and I wanted to appoint a producer to take Nathan from 26,000 subs to 50,000 subs, how would you guys do it?
If I was going to tell Nathan how to run his show, I wouldn't. I like it how it is. That's why I come here.
I wouldn't either. I love this show.
No, it's not about telling him how to run it. It's he stepped aside. He's appointed me to appoint a producer to improve his show. And I'm asking you guys how you would do it if you wanted to apply for that position.
Topless dancers. I had topless dancers. Was that a suggestion? Just
I
write these
wouldn't
down.
want it.
It's a good
would-
question. I can't answer.
Yeah, but this show has been the show the way it is. Everybody forgets what attracted them to start watching and stay watching Flat Earth Debate. I think people got to realize.
I'm pretty sure they came because they like looking at me. Yes, Nathan. Yes, Nathan. Yeah, we agree. Yeah,
Well,
you're very handsome.
I
Oh,
certainly-
thank you all. You're all so
certainly-
complimentary. Oh, thanks.
Soundly
Well, a lot of people
making
want.
sure that
No, thank you.
the
No,
show
stop,
has
stop, honestly.
connection.
But thank you. I do appreciate it.
A lot of people want everybody to just get along when that's just not going to happen. Right?
Yeah,
The
Why not?
reason
Just
why
going to
this
say-
show was great. The reason why this show was great was because it didn't deal with any nonsense. You either validate or take a walk. You're not going to come here with nonsense. It's going to be dealt with internally. If somebody comes up with something that ain't, the dots are not connecting and you can't validate, you're being dealt with. And this is what's happening in Flat Earth Debate. People are talking nonsense and they're going to get dealt with. And that's what made this show number one.
You don't think it was when those male strippers came on, Chippendale? People like topless dancers. I'm looking at the chat now. I'm holding out for topless dancers, says Goldie. See?
Goldie is ace.
Well,
Thank you
what
very
I
much,
definitely
Goldie.
wouldn't do, is I'd be making a point to have zero connection to Jaron Campanella.
There you go.
That would be number one.
You've struck a chord with me with that, Brian, to answer Jardo's question. So, what would, if I wanted just pure more subs, right? Well, there's only a limited pool of flat earthers to garner. You know, we've been limited, we've been cobbled, however you want to put it. Therefore, the guy that just wants more subs appeals to the audience that we're shunning because of their stupid nonsense about ether. So, the guy who wants more subs, Jardo, goes, you know what? I've had a change of mind. Maybe, just maybe, there's something to this ether. Maybe. I'm going to go and ask Jaron what he thinks about it. Maybe he can enlighten me. There you go. 2 more 1,000 subs. Done.
You might be able to get on a plane to Antarctica.
There you go. There's another one. See, we're on a roll now. Do you know what? If I think about it really hard, if they do see a 24-hour sun in Antarctica and I'm on the bottom of a ball, then I'm on the bottom of a ball watching a 24-hour sun happen. Maybe this flat earth thing isn't cracked up as much as I thought it was. That's something I could do, just as another example.
You could start running acclaimed neutral debate platform.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Brian, you're on a roll. Brian's on fire. I could run a quasi-neutral platform. And anytime anybody even suggested anything that might sound like it's going to prove a flat earth, shut it down or let the opponent waffle through it. No worries. I could do that. The list is endless.
Hold on a sec. With that Antarctic thing, I mean, think about it, guys. If the elevation angle of the sun stays above the horizontal plane of reference...
Somebody interrupt this man. He's talking about horizontal plane of references. Neutral platform here. I think we should have a shout-out to Super Chatters. Please share the show and smash the Super Chat. Somebody put John on mute, please. Neutral platform.
Yeah, you didn't make the sun, not the ground. The sun proves what the ground is. You're not getting it.
Yeah, antipodal assumptions, blah, blah, blah. Globe Earth. I think your time is done, John. It's only reasonable that you don't get to talk anymore, and I'll just mumble my way through anything that you object to. Can you stop interrupting me, please, John?
I'm trying to agree with you, right? If the elevation angle of the sun...
I said angle! Stop him! Neutral platform.
You're not letting me get to the crescendo that supports your side.
I just hear angles and flat earth stuff that's definitely in need of shutting down, in spite of your suggestion that this is going to help me on a globe. This is a neutral platform here, John, and what you're doing is pretty disgusting. And, you're basically a moron flat earther, and really you shouldn't be doing it. It's not fair that you keep interrupting me. So can someone put this guy on mute permanently?
I'm trying to support the globe. That's what I'm trying to do. Why won't you let me?
Doesn't sound like it.
Well, it's because you're looking at some of the words I'm saying. Hold on a sec. If the elevation angle of the sun stays above the horizontal plane of reference for a 24-hour period, that means there's no horizontal plane of reference.
Yeah, there's no horizontal. No, there is a horizontal plane of reference. It's just that horizontal plane of reference is antipodal from where I am currently if I were to go down to Antarctica. And we can still have horizontal planes of references on spheres that don't have straight or horizontal anything. But that's a problem for another person. If I'm antipodal,
we can call
then
them tangents.
There you go, tangent, John, tangent. Shh. Stays above if the sun stays above the tangent for 24 hours, John, that squares that circle and shuts you down good and proper. Globe belief's fine. Anyway, we could do that on neutral platform. I'm sick of this role play. 90 people watching. So, thank you, John. Yes, thank you for allowing me to rumpus you on the neutral platform that we're definitely not pretending to be. There's no need for neutrality in this discussion anymore. Sorry, John, go ahead.
I was trying to be neutral and give them their logic. Y'all just won't allow me. I'm appalled.
Yeah, because the logic that you're presenting, as much as I know you're doing it from a point of view that any normal, reasonable globe believer would be entrapped into listening to, and then being forced to comprehend the nature of a flat plane that is required to create their ball. You can only be perceived to be helping them. You're offering them advanced heliocentric understanding. Right, John?
That was my hope. Education is our first.
Well, there is benefits. You see, according to Jado, Jaron Campanella is very good at answering people back via email and text and everything else, but Nathan, you're no good at that.
No, I'm not. No,
according to Jado.
I'm useless at that.
Of course. Yeah. Unless the only time that you get any good out of you is a super chat.
Oh, no. If you give me money, then you'll definitely get a response from me. People who send me money on PayPal, they definitely get a response. Sometimes they even get a live shout out.
I don't think Nathan is going to dispute that for 1 second, to be honest.
Me being a whore? I'm a total whore.
What's
No,
the
this is-
relevance of Nathan's whoredom? I don't get it.
That word, whoredom. This has been fun.
Yeah,
Brian wanted to take a specific example of a scenario where a guy who says, "Oh, what difference does it make?" and turns it into an expanded notion that me saying nothing much will change, Earth will still be measured flat, as in nothing will change, everything stops because of that statement. like everything in any scenario that's exclusive of Earth and its measurements and then factually not changing, and how we functionally deal with Earth literally being the same, and me leaning into that for that guy. But Brian wanted to make it isolated and, no, things will change. Well, obviously, I might not have hot dogs tomorrow, Brian. That'll be a change. And flat or otherwise, there's going to be change, right? Entropy doesn't cease. I understand that.
No,
yeah, but that's still
Brian wants to make public the master bee conversations. That's what Brian wants to do.
there is no reconciliation between the idea that you're sending things up to space and everyone knowing that you require a container for gas pressure, therefore their notion of space is fake. That will cause problems, and that's why it will never be accepted.
Don't lose anything. I can still argue the toss regardless of it being an undoing of a fantasy that doesn't exist. There isn't any loss. We're not mining. We're not like, look at all the extra gold we've got because we're mining the sky so efficiently. Oh no, it turns out we don't have that gold from the sky they said they were efficiently mining. It literally produces nothing. So net loss zero if it all went away tomorrow. I mean, literally. There's no Emperor's New Clothes coming from the sky, is there?
Well, all those people that were employed fabricating the clothes that doesn't exist, they will be put in a position of they are either complacent, ignorant, or willfully involved in committing a crime.
Yeah, I guess if you're an employee of NASA, you've got plausible deniability as far as I'm concerned, to the point where when we moan about NASA, we will only pin the tail on the donkey of astronauts in terms of that lie that you just described. I wouldn't ascribe any blame to anybody that's creating some gyroscopic gimbal that's going to go into a space shuttle that never really goes up into a place that doesn't exist. Just because there's people sewing fur coats for the people who will go through the wardrobe, I have no ill will to the guy who sat at a sewing machine making that fur coat. The fact that there's people who go on the news and say, yes, I did go through the wardrobe and I did see Aslan and look at the fur coat I'm wearing. It's like, well, that doesn't lead me to have any ill will to the guy sewing the fur coat. Likewise with all the employees at NASA.
Right. And like I said, there'll be the ignorant and the complacent. The complacent ones will go down with the ones who are willfully committing the fraud. But then you have to look at the universities, at astrophysics, the pseudosciences that have claimed science to give the idea that this place exists. Will they be able to reconcile? There's a lot of stuff that would happen that people will not accept, and that's why it's so hard to get anyone to understand.
Yeah, and that is a different guy on a different day to the one that Brian wants to critique me on, though, innit? Let's be honest. But it was a fun discussion. Very, very fun. We have actually got one short video that I did want to cover that somebody sent to me. Is it this or is it this?
Before you do, I want to know why I was labeled sick man.
You are. You're literally off at home sick.
Injured.
Same thing. Anyway, we've got a video to cover. So this is FUKIYO. Not sure if I'm saying that correctly or not. Nevertheless, please let he or she or whoever they are know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment in their comment section that just lets them know we've responded to their video. I think it was Liam that shared this with me earlier this morning. Responding to it cold, so we'll check out what it is. I have literally no idea. The name of the video is Someone Said Earth Was Flat. So let's have a listen. It's only a very short video.
said Earth was flat.
This is why I think Earth is flat. Only 5 people
Oh my God. That's horrendous audio. Ugh.
have ever been to space, and they're
What?
all saying the Earth is round. But
What a funny coincidence that we'd be talking about people who are liars that have claimed to traverse a second law of thermodynamics violation sky vacuum. No, we'd all be dead, mate. The gas we're breathing would expand into that sky vacuum they say they're going to. The ones that say it's round, they're liars. Some of the few that we can actually label as liars. Metaphorically, by comparison, nobody's gone through the wardrobe to Narnia. Nobody's going to a sky vacuum to look at Earth as a sphere. You just trust them, don't you, son? Sad with your overloaded mic.
what if they're lying? Until
What if they're lying? They are lying. We know that for a fact.
I go to space and see the Earth with my
You're not going to. It's a hypothetical appeal to the future fallacy.
own 2 eyes,
You're not going to. It's an appeal to the future fallacy.
won't believe the Earth is
It's also a
completely
special
round.
pleading.
Yeah, special pleading, correct.
Yep.
I'm not even sure space is a real thing.
It isn't. It's a violation of the second law of thermodynamics. Gas fills space. So if the sky was a space, gas would fill it. We'd be dead. Go ahead. Oh, I thought someone was trying to add something.
How do we know? We've never seen it. A lot of people nowadays are just
So is that, how do we know it isn't fake because we haven't seen it? How do I know Narnia isn't real when I've not been through the wardrobe? When I do go through the wardrobe, it will validate my automatic belief that Narnia is real. This is his logic.
sheep. If you tell a blind person the ocean is green, they're gonna believe you because they've never seen it. So
Well, that's actually true. I am, in fact, colourblind, and there has been multiple examples where someone has told me something is a specific colour, and then from that point forward, I accept it as what I am told. I'll give you an example. I was told that in where I'm sitting now, right, this carpet, although it's long since been replaced, was cream. Or somebody led me to believe it was cream. So I always assumed I had a cream carpet until one day one of my now divorced brother's wife, former wife, her friend, who was Swiss German, came in and was like, "Oh, you have a pink carpet." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" She's like, "Your carpet is horrible, it's pink." I'm like, "No, it's not, it's cream." I'm like, "No, it's pink, it's horrible." And I phoned my sister and I'm like, "Is my carpet pink?" She was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Why didn't you tell me?" She's like, "Why would I tell you what colour your own carpet is?" I'm like, "Well, because I thought it was cream. I've always seen it as cream." But that's only because someone told me it was cream. And it wasn't, it was pink. But not knowing what colours are, if you're told something and you don't know, you accept it as you are told if you can't discern differently yourself. As per your example.
what if the people that have been to space
They haven't. There is no Narnia. There is no sky vacuum.
if space actually exists, what if they just told us that it exists, but we can't confirm because we've never seen it?
That is the situation, you dumbass. There are people who say they've been to space and you can't confirm it because you haven't been and you will never go. It's a violation of a law of nature called the second law of thermodynamics. That's entropic law, gas dispersion. Gas fills space, it expands into volumes.
This is another reason why I believe the Earth is flat. If Earth
Yeah, go ahead.
I was about to say he phrased that entirely wrong.
He's phrasing it as a
Can't
sarcastic.
confirm it.
He's being. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
You can't confirm it. It exists. That's no. You can confirm that it doesn't exist because of what you know. You know that gas fills space. What you don't know will never contradict what you do know. It's just how it is.
was round like a ball, why doesn't the water from the oceans fall into space?
So, in your presupposed sarcastic flat Earth position, your suggestion would be that Earth would drain from an automatically presupposed spherical surface. No, that's an automatically assumed spherical surface that me as a flat earther have no concern with anymore. I can explain how you, sarcastic though you're being, have a delusion that you're on a spherical surface. That's why you superimpose it onto a flat earther's sarcastic point of view.
Right? It's supposed to fall if the water's upside down. So
Antipodal. You don't even know the terminology of your own religion of heliocentrism. Yeah, in your world of antipodal positioning, where mapped into sphericity from flat Earth angle measurements to the stars, you have a believer's perspective based on a nonsensical force that you can think of as a force that isn't really a force, called gravity, that stops the world having antipodal positioning, and every position, mathematically speaking only, is the top. So you have no concerns for why water would fly off it. But if you ever were to try and investigate the reification of your fantasy ball that you believe you are on, sarcastic being a flat earther that you are, that would need a force to hold the water there in fantastical reification. But there is no necessity for me as a flat earther to concern myself with why water isn't draining from the bottom of your reified ball. It's a lot to unpack when he's doing it in a sarcastic way, but I don't mind doing it. It's a challenge.
oh, why wouldn't the water fall off this planet? Something I also don't get is, why does it snow at the top of mountains? Isn't the mountain supposed to be hotter because you're getting closer to the sun?
It's one of those questions that we ask daily, given that you've got a heliocentric sphere Earth distance to the sun, based on flat Earth measurements, I might add. We don't make such claims. I mean, you're being sarcastic about a straw man position that flat earthers don't take. As I say, this is quite a lot to unpack, but it was fun. Glad it was short. A lot to unpack in such a short video.
Why is there snow? Does the sun
Why haven't you figured out what gain control does? Horrible. Absolutely horrible. You're an offence to my eardrums, my friend.
even exist? If you have the answers, let me know, because I don't believe that any of this stuff exists.
Your misrepresentation of me as a flat earther in the straw man feast and nonsense spewing garbage that you want me to be is also an outrage to my ears. It's an affront to everything that I actually stand for. Know this, Earth's measured flat. I have no concern about why water doesn't drain from an antipodal positioned belief in a ball that came from flat Earth measurements. To be sarcastic about it as you are being. I know Earth is flat, that's how it's measured. Well, that was fun. Please let this dude, FUKIYO, no, at Nathan Oakley 1980. I really enjoyed that. I'm going to even give it a like. Leave this dude a comment, because I actually, as much as it might sound like I've got disdain for this dude, I did actually quite enjoy covering that, because it was a bit of a mouthful to unpack with him taking a sarcastic position as a flat earther, right? Spewing the feast of nonsense. Ed?
That's exactly what it was. It is the position that they hear us say. That's what they want to argue with, what that guy just did. They don't want to deal with the points we put forward. They want to change it into something else to argue with. That dude's name should be Strawman.
Indeedy. Well, it's sarcastic strawman. Weird, isn't it? Sarcastic strawman stereotype. Anyway, I've put a link to his video. Please let that videographer know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that doesn't immediately get removed from the YouTube bots or by him himself if he's responding to you as a videographer. So leave a polite comment that basically alludes to the fact that we've made a response video. Hopefully, if he was to respond to us, he'd do the same for us and put a link to a Nathan Oakley 1980 YouTube video in his video and share in the YouTube algorithmic love that we definitely don't receive as flat earthers. So hopefully he'll leave him a comment and he'll do the same for us if you respond. Yeah, John.
And just to top it off, his antipodal understanding is only with respect to the plane of reference. All antipodal positions are 90 degrees to the plane of reference.
Yeah, in other words, is anti-flat Earth strawman stereotype had an upside-down water dripping off it, but in reality, that antipodal position with respect to a plane of reference needs a plane of reference. Or to put it more succinctly, he'll need a flat Earth for that stereotype that he's being sarcastic about.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, you don't expect it to be so like long-winded and obscure to unpack, but when someone's being sarcastic, it is clever in a way to make a video like that, but it does make it that little bit more complicated to unpack. Like I say, and I do enjoy a challenge. Does everyone else enjoy that as much as I did? Yes,
That's pretty
Nathan,
funny.
topless ladies. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that was good.
Mumble. Wonderful.
I found it
The
hard
judge
to
just won.
listen in because he was shouting a load of stuff. I just didn't finish. I just tuned out.
You switched out because of the god-awful overloaded mic that he was using.
Well, it's like a mechanism I have for when someone's coming at me with a lot of things at one time. I just kind of turn off, switch off, stop it coming in. So it just ends up just being words, not having any meaning.
Oh, the twat filter. Yes, I've got one of those. I can switch it on to. Any more for any more?
It happens to me when I'm talking. It happens to me when I'm talking to Witsit.
Yeah, the twat filter.
Yeah, because Witsit waffles.
That was my defense for you, Brian. The judge is here, by the way. I wanted to
Thank
have
you.
a sidebar with him.
Just as I'm about to round out. In all seriousness, though, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow.
In the scientific method that has to be in nature, does the device where you perform the experiment have anything to do with it?
No, it's only the dependent variable. Must be
Thank you
natural.
very much. Answered the
Well,
question.
the independent variable must be natural too, but you can induce that with a man-made object.
Exactly. So the device has really nothing to do with it. As long as what you observe is in nature, then you can put it through the scientific method. And we all know this because QE taught it to us. So when he indicts us, he's indicting himself.
That is not how that argument works. The indictment is that we knowingly, with the information, did not protect the information as it was presented to us. So
No.
if he has examples of us not defending the information, he has an indictment against us.
No.
I don't see how we can indict
Neil.
him for falsely accusing us if he has evidence.
He doesn't have evidence. He has us not piping up in a show that's not titled Brian's Logic or Neil Cosentino Live. It's titled Flat Earth Debate Live, Nathan Oakley, 1980. Now, if Nathan doesn't answer that question or stop him in his tracks, that's another story.
But see, it don't work that way because we're allowed to speak at any time we choose. It is behooving upon us to defend the truth. Like, it's not like it's a crime. We're not going to go to jail for this, but it definitely keeps us on our toes.
If the host of the show behind the scenes had conversation with us saying that if Witsit happen or someone similar happens to come in again, but predominantly a Witsit, to not all try to get our points in, to leave him do the work. And we adhered to that, then how can we be guilty?
We're not. The only guilty party
Exactly.
is Nathan Oakley.
Can you show evidence of that? Or is this just a baseless assertion?
You can, because in times past, you go back to other shows where we do interrupt and stop him in his tracks. And you ever think of the fact that he throws that out there to make us all jump at it because he wants to throw us off the trail? He's not stupid wits in that department. He knows damn well once he says that, you're going to have 9 guys jumping in. And you know what? Nobody jumped in.
I remember expecting Nathan to say something, so I didn't think there was a need for me to say that. And then Nathan didn't say something, and the time just passed. Besides the fact that I wasn't supposed to be speaking up at that point. And I'm sure it was the same for everyone else. It's just one of those things that happened. You know, sometimes a missile gets underneath the radar.
Right.
You know?
Right. Look at the show yesterday.
right.
I went to
Hold on.
say something. Wait, in the show that he was QE. Hold on a second. In the show that QE was reviewing yesterday, where was it? I said something, and Nathan shut me up. Right on QE show, you can see it.
Right. And I don't deny that those things have happened. Like, goodness knows, shut up, Neil could be made into a friggin' meme. What I'm saying is, it's nothing bad. I mean, everybody does it. I mean, you'd be like the most horrible butthole to be around if you tried to correct everyone on everything all the time. But it's just nice to keep us on our toes.
No, and hold on.
Because
I agree
listen.
I agree when it's justified. We're all about learning. QE's taught us all. So why would we resist now? We resist now because it's not so.
Look, I know that an atom exists. I know that. And I turned it into a convention in a conversation. I should be ashamed. I'll never live that down, Neil. There's nothing wrong with messing up. Everybody does it.
Well, at that instance, I know that number one, I wasn't supposed to be talking, as I said, and I expected Nathan to just say something to him about it. Then he didn't, and the time's passed, and I'm sure it was the same for everyone else there. So it was just a case of everyone was expecting everyone else to say something, and nobody did.
Well, I think it's what you said before. It's the twat filter. You can only stand so much ignorant crap before you kind of just shut yourself off to it. There were several times I walked away from the phone as Witsit was talking because I didn't want to deal with it. It was so wrong on so many levels, and so many different things were wrong that I wasn't going to try to address all of them.
Hey, Brian, maybe I would just thought of something. Maybe we're not looking at this through QE's eyes. You know, maybe he might be disappointed. You know, after so many years, we're not just, boom. No matter who's there, no matter who's hosting the show, somebody says nonsense, boom, just jump right in. I just thought about that now. So maybe we got to step up our game and not let Nathan intimidate us.
Well, the other side of it, that coin, is that by us not saying anything, Witsit blurted out something that I would say everyone in the audience, or general audience at least, was fully aware of it to be wrong.
Correct.
So, in a lot of ways, none of us needed to say anything because all the audience knew it was wrong.
Actually,
that doesn't mean the future audience will understand that, but the audience at the time was fully aware of it.
Yeah, probably the entire audience and in chat probably shook their heads like, oh, God, really?
Well, see, now we're appealing to everyone knowing it and no one said anything. Don't you think, like, there's a guilt in that?
See, Brian, I think we lost touch. We are panel members on Globebusters. Our name appears
Ballbusters.
on top. Ballbusters, yes. Right? Our name appears on top. So, we got to just start jumping in whenever it's necessary.
That was 2022, Nathan. We didn't think there was going to be a problem. If it was 2024 into 2025, Nathan, that'd be different.
That 22 Nathan was sharp as a tack, boy.
Yeah, poetry in motion, you could call it.
You know how bad it sounds when something's true, and what you guys are doing is like someone's accusing you of being crazy, and you're just like, no, I'm not. Absolutely not. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. It just makes you seem crazy. Trust me. There's nothing wrong with being, guilty of this.
There is of this there is. Especially
Why?
when none of us feel the guilt. I don't feel guilty. I don't feel I did the wrong thing. Everyone was waiting for someone else to say something, and no one did.
I didn't either, but I'm thinking about it now. I'm thinking about if I was QE, and this has been going on for years now, and something is said, and we're not immediately jumping in to correct, I would be like, what the frick is wrong with these guys?
That side of things I understand. But it must be understood that we're aware of that, of the stupidity of what was being said. I know myself that if he was at the time addressing Adam or John or you, Neil, Chocolate, Eli, myself, anyone else, Mush, you know what I mean? Heroes that everyone would have said, if he was addressing any of the rest of us at that exact moment, we would have said, what do you mean? Right? About this man-made device, right? Now, we expected Nathan to say something, and Nathan just didn't. Even though he was 2022 Nathan, he didn't. And it was just, it's like nobody expects Floyd Mayweather to need help. Do you know what I mean?
Well, he should have
Right.
said, you idiot, of course it's a man-made device. What do you expect it to be? Supernatural?
But
If you're what?
see, that's
Sorry,
the thing,
John.
though. Hold on. I'm just saying that's the thing, though. Like, we're going to this one specific example that we might be able to argue it as if we're, not guilty of noticing what happened, or it's just an excuse. Is all I'm saying. It's
John.
like all it takes from us is to say, yeah, we missed that. Good
Yeah,
point.
he's a disappointed teacher. I'm starting to see it from QE's side, Brian. Like a teacher that's been disappointed. Like, damn, you know it.
Neil, if you're at the sidelines, if you're at the outside the ring, and you're watching Floyd Mayweather in his prime, right, 2022 Nathan, right, and you see the opponent coming at him with a haymaker, right, because that's what, right, a haymaker, you're going to, not for a moment, you're going to think that Floyd Mayweather is going to get hit by that. And he does, and just carries on. It's just like, you didn't warn him it was coming. You didn't warn him. But you know what I mean?
That's a good analogy.
So there's no way he's going to. There's absolutely no way that he's going to get hit with a haymaker, and he does.
I like that.
It was shock.
I like that because Brian has it as Floyd Mayweather, undefeated, cannot be touched. I like it.
Yeah, this ain't really a good analogy though, because.
But it is because nobody's going to yell to. Hold on, wait, but nobody's going to yell to Floyd, duck.
Exactly. No one's going to expect they need to.
But you think when he goes over to his corner, his coach ain't going to get in his ass?
Yeah, but the coach is not expecting to have to do that.
Exactly.
And these coaches coming on the team
and that's
who
why
weren't expecting that they needed to say anything. Sorry, John.
Right. So the coach is going to be upset. He's going to go to his corner, and he's going to be like, how did you miss that, dummy?
No, you got him getting hit by that. We didn't get hit by that. We saw the haymaker and eluded it.
It wasn't coming at us.
It's recorded.
You understand what I mean?
It was recorded. It was recorded, though. You know what I mean?
So you're saying we got hit with the haymaker?
Yeah.
I don't see that we got hit with it. I see that we avoided it and didn't count. You could say we didn't counter. We didn't throw a counter punch, but we didn't get hit with it because we all saw it coming. We all knew what he meant. We all knew he was a retard at that point. Why would we even come in and say, excuse me, what's it? But it has nothing to do with the apparatus being man-made. Of course it's man-made. How else you going to perform the experiment? You got a supernatural device we could use? Yeah.
Then insert waffle.
Neil, if you're standing outside that ring and you're watching, you're part of Floyd Mayweather's team, he's in his prime, and he's fighting some guy who's obviously not up to standard, right? But the guy is young and he thinks he is, and the guy comes at it, Floyd with Mayweather with a haymaker, and you're outside the ring with the towel or whatever it's. You don't feel the need to say duck.
No, see, this
You're
isn't
not expecting
analogous
to
to
have
the
to say it.
situation. This isn't analogous to the situation then. What this would be more like is if you were in the Gracie dojo and you were the Father Gracie, the beginner, the founder, and you have all your best guys lined up, and some jerk off the street comes in and does a stooge slap across every single one of them.
No.
Are you going to say something?
No. That's not the same. No.
Oh no, that's
not
analogous
good
to
analogy.
this
The boxing's
situation
much better.
because we're not individuals. I mean, our group is not one. We're not Floyd Mayweather. He's talking about the group. Like there may be the standout, like Horace Gracie. He got hit with the stooge slap too. All of them did, and that's why the Father Gracie's pissed.
No. I don't like that analogy. I prefer the other one.
Yeah, I do too. The defensible one. That's the one you can.
You don't feel the need to tell Floyd to duck. He's the master of the bob and the weave and everything. You know what I mean? It's like he's not even in there. He's so good at not getting hit at one time. He was so good at one time.
Right.
You know, like 2022 Nathan, nobody expect, like as I said, it was 2024 into 2025 Nathan. You know, he's slowed down a bit. He's gone off the rails a bit with agendas.
Right.
You know,
now you sound like one of. Now you sound like one of the younger Gracies, talking shit about Horace Gracie, even though you got caught in the same slap he did. But you see the analogy now?
No.
Anyone else feeling a bit neglected here on Discord?
You
Sorry,
can
guys,
say
we'll move
anything.
on.
Hey, hold on a second.
Oh,
Flat out,
now you can
always
hear me.
interrupt.
Can you?
What do
Are
you
you
got,
able to
Flat
hear
out
me?
there?
Yeah, so I was piping up just 5-10 minutes ago, and I think Nathan closed his line. But now I am coming through. So I'm not sure whether to choose a side from what was being discussed in the live stream, where I felt that Brian and Neil were trying to put across their point to Nathan, and John, Refracted Curvature, pointed out that you are not talking to the same point. So I'm not really decided on that side, but I wanted to hear more from Brian, which I unfortunately did not get the time to hear.
Oh, that's
So I was
disappointing.
interested to. You purposely did it, Nathan. You did not allow Brian to speak because he was going to expose your agenda. But I am more interested in listening to. I'm interested in listening to that. I want your agenda to be exposed. So can we please give Brian some air?
Absolutely. How delightful. And with that, I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to Brian and Flat
No
Earther.
way. No way.
No, I'm only joking.
That's good stuff. That was good stuff. I think everybody, like, their jaws dropped. It was pretty good.
It's very simple, Arthur. What Nathan is going to be putting forth is be telling people, no, nothing's going to change. Right? When they say, what's going to be the difference if it's flat or a globe? You know, the person says, what's the difference if it's flat or a globe? Nathan is going to be saying to that person, yeah, it's no difference. Everything's going to be just basically the same. It's just going to be flat instead of it. You just know it's flat instead of a globe. But what Nathan's actually saying is to that person, because if Nathan is not being actually honest with that person, is that person will either take one of two directions. They'd either go, yeah, nothing's going to change and believe what Nathan says, right? When Nathan says that, all he's saying is trains will still exist, right? That's basically what Nathan is saying. Yeah, there'll still be trains. So what? Right? But the guy could go, yeah, nothing's going to change. And then afterwards, everything could change for the person. There could be all kinds of changes that the person wasn't expecting to happen because Nathan said nothing's going to change. Now, the other side of it is the person could go, what do you mean nothing's going to change? That's completely false. The whole world that I live in, everything is going to be different because now, so
You should have read the
point,
chat, Brian.
underlying point, he won't let me do it because the agenda has been exposed. Nathan's underlying point
Because-
is trains will still exist.
Exactly.
Like,
What I felt is Brian is trying to tell that people's world view can change, whereas Nathan was hell bent on saying that the world in reality is not going to change. But Brian is trying to say that a person's worldview can take a 180-degree turn when it comes to flat Earth knowledge, isn't
Yeah.
it, Brian?
Yeah, till my point kicks in, and then you realise, everything that you believe was all just a dream. It was all in your head. But the world itself hasn't changed at all. It always was flat.
That's going to change. Are you kidding me? Did you read the chat?
Look,
Yes.
you're pretty
Nathan's
much
point ain't
correct.
never going to be wrong. Nathan's point is never going to be wrong because it's not a direct address to what Brian just said.
No. Trains will still exist. That's what Nathan's actually claiming. Like, no way, buddy. Trains.
So are you attacking
Didn't I get in
Nathan
trouble for
on pointing
my
out-
feelings on this?
I don't-
Sorry, guys. So didn't I get in trouble
well-
in politics last Friday for my feelings on this topic?
But let's make sure that everybody understands their positions, right? Nathan is saying the physical world, this has no bearing on it. Our understanding of the physical world does not change the physical world. Now, is anyone contesting that? Because that was his statement.
Of course not. That's retarded.
Of course not.
That's
Can't
Then
contest
Why
that.
are we arguing?
Brian, just being awkward. Typical Brian behaviour, generally speaking. Because it's me. He just wants to challenge it because I've said it, even though it's uncontestable.
John is correct, but John is stating what you're stating, but in a more honest way.
Oh, I see. So when
Without
John says
agenda.
it, it's all right.
Because it's
In other
it's
words.
less snazzy. The way John states it is just a matter of fact. Green will still be green, whether the Earth is a globe or the Earth is flat. That's all you're stating.
Is it wrong for Brian to desire the 2022 Nathan? Don't you see what's happening
Talking
here?
about? This is
2024 into 2025, Nathan. I don't know if I'm feeling them.
What's the difference, Brian? What's the difference between 2022 and 2024?
Oh, there's a
Nathan?
big difference.
Massive, huge. I mean, the difference is phenomenal. Just go back and listen to QE, the start of QE Live yesterday. Listen to Nathan talking to Witsit.
One's got hair.
That's
one
not
hasn't.
the Nathan we have today.
I think Brian's the difference, not Nathan.
So I asked it. I asked it to Brian.
I don't agree
What
with
is
that.
the difference? What is the difference? Let Brian clarify. Pinpoint the difference, Brian.
It loses its humour if you try and pin him down on details. Don't take this from him. It's funny.
It's without.
So are we just
agenda.
talking about it on a funny tone, on a
without
humorous
agenda,
tone,
that's
or
the
is Brian
difference.
serious about it?
2022 Nathan was free flowing. He just moved and dealt with it, rolled with the punches, all this. Now he has this agenda. He's even promoting the agenda he's going to have for 2025 before 2025 even comes.
Okay, I'll come clean.
And
I
what's
have
that?
printed
And what's that?
20,000 t-shirts with "It really is no big deal" on them, and I have got to get behind this in a big way.
Brian
What is the
is
agenda,
fixated
Brian?
on hippie
What is
Nathan.
that agenda? Yeah, what's the agenda, Brian?
What's the agenda? Oh, yeah, the agenda is that he's going to be telling people that trains still exist, but he's going to be telling them in such a way where it makes it sound far more mysterious and than that.
He is correct. On the back of the t-shirt, it does actually say that in quotes. Trains will still exist. End quote. So he has got it right. I do have an agenda. It's on the t-shirts. There's been thousands of them printed.
Nathan, listen to what you're saying. Earth is measured flat. It's provable. It is not a globe, but nothing's going to change. Really, Nathan? Do you really, really believe that deep down inside?
Tell him again, John.
That's not his statement. That's not his statement. You're arguing with a statement he didn't make. Do you not get it?
Nothing's going to change. The way we deal with Earth in a functional, practical way will not change. It was and always will be functionally measured flat. It was flat yesterday. It's flat today. It'll be flat tomorrow. Ergo, nothing will change in terms of how we deal with Earth in that specific respect. How we're talking about Earth is how Earth presents itself to us. Now that, in your, if you're that guy, mind's eye, was, past tense, globe-shaped. But that was just a dream, man. That wasn't reality. Now, in reality, nothing will change regardless of how you perceived the world until this point. That's my point.
No, because you said you continued on and said you still have to get up and go to work. You still have to pay your bills.
That's the guy I'm responding to, Neil. Yeah,
differ.
that's the guy I'm responding to. The guy who you go, did you know Earth's flat? Oh, really? What difference does it make? I've still got a mortgage. I'm talking about that guy, Neil.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were saying that nothing's going to change as far as we still got to get up and do this, and we still got. Yeah, we do, but things will change.
Well, getting up and doing things is a choice, so you don't have to do that. That's on you whether you decide to keep paying your mortgage or going to work or anything else.
Exactly,
So
Brian. As long as the person,
you can't say to a person how they'll react to it.
No, but there'll be a difference. There'll be a difference as far as, listen, everybody would be questioning the government. Everybody.
Yeah. But come on, what Brian just said is kind of funny to say that. Come to flat Earth, you can lose everything. You can lose everything with us.
Yeah, well, the choice is there. Someone might choose not to get up because of the information. They might choose not to get up and go to work, to not pay their mortgage. They might decide to just have nothing to do with it. There might be a lot of people that might decide to do that. So stating that to somebody is incorrect. So my advice to Nathan would be, if he's going to have an agenda, make it in such a way where he's not stating things to people that you know what I mean, giving people foregone conclusions that he can't support, because you don't know how that person's going to take it, or the person next to them. Will say,
but that's not his point.
Yeah, but the person doesn't know that. But the point is, Nathan is stating you still have to get up in the morning and pay your mortgage. That is not part of it. That's my point. Nathan's point is it's going to be flat because it's always been flat. That's Nathan's point. Trains will still exist. Yeah, sure. But you can't say to someone, you will still have to get up and you will still have to pay your mortgage, because someone might decide, you don't have to do that.
But that's the thing. The guy who responded, it was put in context. He's saying, how does it affect my mortgage and my job? Right?
So I would like to say that Nathan said that all you could do is share his show. Now, let's say I am sharing Nathan's show to someone who has to go to work tomorrow, and I share Nathan's show to that person, and he's like, is it going to change anything? And according to Nathan on his own show, he's saying, no, it is not going to change anything. You are going to have to go to work tomorrow. In that case, the person would say, so why am I looking at this video at all then? What does it matter?
This guy
Why does it matter at all?
Incorrect. This guy's going to take the incorrect interpretation of what Nathan said that has nothing to do with what Nathan said.
Yeah, but no, it has, because Nathan has stated that if the guy says, sure, but what's the difference? I still have to get up and go to work and pay my mortgage. Nathan agreed to that. Instead of stating, well, I don't know what you're going to do. I'm just telling
that's
you
fair.
that the earth will still be flat.
I should ask, are you a NASA employee? Because if so, maybe you won't be going to work tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
The point being is that Nathan can't tell someone what they can't agree with someone when they say, "Oh, I still after this, I still after that." Like that's agreeing with that is I don't see, like because you don't have to do any of that now. You
It'll
don't
make
have
a
to do.
difference.
Can I add something?
It'll
You know what I
make a
mean?
difference
Can
to
I add
war
something?
veterans that are on the street, GIs that gave their life for the country that can't make ends meet, and they see billions of dollars going to NASA. Oh, it'll make a big difference. You will see revolutions
In
happening.
that way, yes. I mean, the thing about it is, though, Nathan is not denying those kind of differences. But what Nathan is stating, as I'll say it again, Nathan is stating that trains will still exist and green will still be green. But that doesn't mean the person will still have to get up and go to work and pay their mortgage because they don't have to do that now. That's an incorrect statement. And so if someone says that, they're stating an incorrect statement. They're making an incorrect statement. You don't have to do that. That's a choice.
Right. You don't
I
have
want to add something.
not be a
If I can.
bum. What the hell kind of argument is this?
I want to add something. Neil, I think that you are making big assumption because you don't know if it will be a revolution or something. That's future, you know. That's something what you think, what I also can think that could happen because of big lie and everything. But you don't know if that happened because we had big stuff also in if you remember in last past, and that was big stuff, and nothing's changed. You have the two towers. People were asking questions. Nothing's changed. You have million wars during the human history. Nothing's changed. That doesn't mean that even if all of us realize the big lie, that will something change.
Well, no, that would be incorrect, Sasha, because the reason
Brian, you don't know because you don't know. You don't know how the information will be. How to say? Maybe NASA will not exist. That's only. But maybe everything will be okay. You know, like only changing, but without any revolution, anything. You know, you don't
It'll
know.
change for school teachers. Oh, their life will change drastically.
Yeah, a lot of things will definitely change because they'll have to. Certain
Will
things will
astrophysicists
have
still
to
have a
change.
job?
Yeah, well, that's only a very minor thing. It's the a lot of things will change because they'll have to change. They'll have to change at that point. There will definitely be a paradigm shift, a change. That will definitely happen. It won't be like you were saying with the Twin Towers or wars or whatever, because they're events that come and go. This is something different. This is all encompassing and all the time. While all those events was happening, when the event was happening in New York on the 9th of September in 2001, when the war in the Gulf was happening, when the war in this place and that place and the other place, when the financial crash, when all these things were happening, everyone was being told it was a globe when it wasn't. And that's the difference. It was not just an insular. It's not just an insular event, if you understand what I mean.
I'm only saying this. Of course, it will be changed, but this change will lead us to the truth, or are we sure for that, or we are go, or because future you don't know what will happen, or we'll go again into the lie, new lie, whatever. The new lie will be something else, but that will be only okay.
I can't
That is
disagree with
flat.
that. Right? I can't disagree with that, Sasha. That people might go into a whole new lie. So nothing might change in that way. I agree. In that way, nothing might change. You're 100% correct.
You know, you only find the guilty one. You put them on guilty one. You cut his head, and everybody's go home. Oh, we know he was guilty for this heliocentric model. You put 10 persons, I don't know, whatever, and then it's over. You know, and you start again with whatever, and then you start with a flat earth and container and some new world, whatever you want. And then again, do I know the borders? Do I know anything? Do I know where I'm living now? Oh, there is now a new expedition, a terrestrial expedition. There is no more NASA. Now we have, let's say, terrestrial, some kind of company. And they're now showing us the truth. Is that real truth now? Are we
Does
now
anybody ever watch?
good society? Are we realize all together that God exists? Oh, you don't know what will happen in future. That means, yeah, it will change for sure, but still could be like whatever else. I thought after Twin Towers, in that years, I thought, oh my God, this is somebody will be. This cannot pass like this. That everybody knows what happened. No, what happened in history books will happen like this: terrorist attack on USA 2 buildings, and that will be forever, nothing else. They can make story about this flat earth. Oh, we had a time that people were believing heliocentric. Yeah, we had that liars, but yeah, we don't have anymore.
Well, there'll be another guru to step in.
I didn't see in human history, like let's say 50 years of good like how to explain 50 years of peace somewhere, whatever America, you can say it's peace, but that you celebrate some kind of, oh, look at this life, let's live like them, look at them for 50 years, they didn't attack nobody, they didn't have any corruption, nothing, they are perfect, let's do like them. No, we have wars all the time. To make good, we need conflict, always, unfortunately. It would be nice that this idea about flat earth, that everybody go and think simply, like, fuck sea level, that cannot curve. And that everybody open the mind, oh, I was raised to believe in Big Bang, and that, okay, now God, everything, to put in some idea, to go in some direction of the sense and to be like a human being, okay, let's go now in this direction. But who will make that? Who will say, follow me? We need Jesus or something.
Are you appealing to the devil we don't know? Or are they?
Yep.
Sasha? I guess we'll never know.
Like in the Hunger Games, remember District 13 overtook the Capitol, and that woman just wanted to replace the president. She didn't want to change anything. We don't know that won't happen.
Yeah. Meet the new boss. Same as the old boss.
Yeah. Animal Farm,
Calling me a pig.
Yeah. Animal was disappointed. They took the power from the man, and then pigs took the power from the animals.
Well, thing is that what we must take into account is that if this information doesn't become mainstay, and that doesn't happen, then you can pretty much be sure we're going into 1984.
What makes you think we aren't already in 1984? Are you having me on?
Yeah, but
we are.
permanently.
Jesus.
We are. I can't disagree with that. We're already in a kind of a 1984, but it's at a critical point where it can be broken. But if
You're
you
right.
either go forward or another generation or two, I don't know if it can be broken out of.
It might not go that far. But in the meantime, call me Czar. Zarzy.
We was never in 1984. We was never in.
Did you see that?
Have you seen the size of chocolate bars? I'm not even joking. Go and listen to that scene where they're listening to the radio report about how the chocolate ration has gone up and everyone should be grateful. When they go to the shops, it's 20 grams instead of 25. And she's trying to make head and tail of the double talk. But yeah, you get less chocolate. And then they're like, well, you all moaned at McDonald's for giving you too much food. So we've given you a lot less for a lot more money.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. A smaller Mars bar for just more money.
Only double the price, and it's half as big, so it's a lot healthier now.
Yeah, and it's still full of rubbish, you know. But we're giving it to you for it's gonna be higher price and it's smaller.
I made the conclusion we are definitely in 1984 when the sugar tax came in. Do you remember a few years ago? And you could go into the shop and you'd buy, roller cola for £1. But if you felt a bit frugal, you'd buy Coca-Cola for £1.59. And you accepted that it was going to be that way. Now, anything with sugar in, £3. And the bottle's 50% smaller. 2 litre bottle, what's that? You don't get 2 litres, you get 1.75 for more money.
How was that
Obviously.
1984? How was
The
that?
acceptance. The acceptance, John. 1984 is about acceptance. Acceptance of nonsense. Acceptance of things that just aren't true. Going along. Get along. Even at your own detriment.
I don't think that's what that is about.
The Department of Corrections.
The idea that
locks people up.
We have an unbeliever, Nathan. We have an unbeliever.
How many fingers are holding up, John?
He doesn't
Did you
know.
see that GIF when
If we don't think there's going to be
GIF when-
change, then what the hell are we doing this for?
He couldn't hear you, Sasha. Everyone else could, but he couldn't.
Yeah. Did you see that picture,
What was
GIF,
the-
when Orwell is holding the book? It's written 2024, and he's like screaming on like the face.
Yeah, like the meme.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, according to Mark Sargent, I have never verified this, but according to Mark Sargent, George Orwell, back in the 50s, I think it was, would go outside his door and ask people on the street, what is the world? And they would say, it's a globe. And he would ask them, supposedly, how do you know? And nobody was able to actually give him coherent answers.
But that's my
interesting.
point. If we don't think the world is going to change, then what the hell are we doing it for?
It won't change. The world won't change, Neil. It always was measured flat.
Yeah, but see, this is the agenda, Neil, right? The world is a lot more than just measurements to people. When you reference the world, you're not just referencing
That's
some
world
chaos.
view. That's world
May
view.
I ask you all
not
something?
world.
I'm talking about the
That's
world.
world
Arthur's got it.
view.
The hell with you.
Yeah,
This is
such
gonna
a
mess up
all.
girl's narrative.
I tell you what will
Back in a few
change.
minutes.
This is
Your
gonna mess
opinion
up
of
your
Brian
narrative,
will
but I
change.
just got one question. I just have one question. This will mess up the narrative. But please point to the Flat Earth debate in the book 1984.
There's a point where he points about. He talks
I
about
can.
the stars.
I can. That's my
I
pinned
was, but you go ahead.
tweet on X. That's my pinned tweet on X till date. And I did it like 7 years ago. So I can point it out. Would you allow me to read a quote from 1984?
I was in the middle of quoting it when you said you could, but fine, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, quoting 1984. For certain purposes, of course, that is not true. That being, the earth being a globe. So, it continues. When we navigate the ocean or when we predict an eclipse, we often find it convenient to assume that the earth goes around the sun and that the stars are millions upon millions of kilometers away. But what of it? Do you suppose it is beyond us to produce a dual system of astronomy? The stars can be near or distant, according as we need them. Do you suppose our mathematicians are unequal to that? Have you forgotten double speak? End quote.
There you go. That was what I was going to quote. But you
Okay, now I'll deal with that. Good.
Yeah.
Good. You brought it up. Awesome. So, yeah, they recognize that the Earth's measured flat. Yeah. Cool. Please point to the group of individuals from all around the world who are on the internet discussing this topic in 1984. You didn't do that yet.
As in, point out the equivalent to us in 1984.
Yeah. Or your comparison doesn't stand.
If there isn't a flat Earth debate equivalent.
If there's not a group of individuals openly and actively defying the narrative in 1984 and doing so without repercussion, it's not analogous. Sorry.
Fair enough. Still, it was nice to get that quote in.
Did John ruin something?
My opinion of you has changed greatly, Brian.
You're welcome,
I
Brian.
think the
It's
world
gotten good then. Thanks, Arthur.
the world's a lot more complicated than 1984.
And if you are playing into the narrative of 1984, then you are a victim of Hegelian dialectic.
The what?
Hegelian
The
dialectic.
Hegelian dialectic. I'm surprised you don't know that.
He does. Just remind him.
I didn't hear what you said. You're saying dialectic acceleration? All I'm
No.
getting is dialectic.
No.
No.
That's
The Hegelian-
dielectric. What I'm talking about is Hegelian dialectic. Hegel was a philosopher,
Okay, I got you.
contemporary of Karl Marx. So basically, the idea that they, quote unquote, they control both sides of the narrative. That's basically Hegelian dialectic. What we see going on in American politics at this moment.
Right. The appeal to the ambiguous they.
Yeah,
that you can never
hashtag same
define.
team.
Look, us and NASA are on the same page. No, well, I won't say we're half on the same page, right? We're not comfortable with the same book, but we're half on the same page. We all know it's flat and stationary and enclosed. There is no if, buts, or maybes about that. We all know God exists. We all know this place was created as were we. Now, there's a lot of people out there who think that NASA are promoting something else, right? Because NASA gives them the impression. Who think that NASA have a different view, but they don't. NASA know. NASA knew before we did. They've known a long while. Actually, they are the real flat earthers.
NASA's not a person.
That's
right?
a claim and a half.
I was going to say
That's
NASA's not.
a huge claim.
NASA's not a person.
Go ahead, Nathan.
Well, NASA's just not a person.
I agree with you, Brian. They knew it before all of us. I think about container.
I don't agree at all.
Absolutely, they knew about this a long time back.
Who's they? NASA. NASA's not a person.
Yeah, the company of NASA. Those who were at the top end of NASA. They've known about this for quite some time.
So Buzz Aldrin knows it's flat, does he?
Well, I can't state which members of NASA, but at the top end, yeah.
Oh, this has got problems, it seems.
He knows they didn't go to the moon.
Well, that's different to knowing it's flat, which is what you're now arguing for, and I'm saying no.
But I didn't state anyone specifically. You did.
Bloody weasels, all of you.
Well, that's what happens when you have an agenda.
I don't have any agenda.
Do you hear that nervous laughter?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yeah, we all heard that nervous laughter, Brian. Thanks for pointing it out.
You say so.
I don't have any agenda. Yeah, right.
Yeah, very compelling.
Nathan, are you considering reviewing the video from the Jeff Mara podcast? It's named Master B.
No, I hadn't been.
Oh, I was just saying, it's a video well worth your time. But the only thing is, there's a lot to unpack.
Oh, we can definitely do that tomorrow.
Take it on, Nathan. Take it on, Doc.
We'll do that tomorrow.
That's part of the agenda.
What's part of the agenda?
2022, Nathan would have just put it on. There wouldn't have been a problem. I don't know what happened to you in 2023, but something changed because in 2024 there was a different Nathan.
I have to disagree with you there, Brian. You gotta put some stuff on for the next day show. We can't just go video to video to video. Now, when QE comes in,
He's not getting to you. Have you been paid off?
I think ending the perception that there is a debate to be had is a good agenda. Though. Is someone arguing against that?
I didn't hear any of that, John, because your little one was screaming.
Right, but
yeah, we got
ending the belief that a perception of a debate, ending that is a good agenda. Don't you think?
Absolutely,
I agree with that.
That's why I've been avoiding debates since in the start of 2022. Stop having these debates. It's just state the facts. You don't need to debate about it. It's objective reality.
Exactly. There is no debate. We're here to just educate you on where we are living, what we are standing on. And it's definitely not a globe.
Well, a debate would imply that there's an argument that our opposing side has. They have roadblocks to us relaying information and gaining information, not just relaying it. They don't have an argument. In 2015, they couldn't produce our curve. Right? That's the end of that. It's over.
So the Black Swan,
given an invitation from a debating platform.
Arthur, can you hear me?
Neil. I can, but you started after me, but still go on.
Neil was speaking first there, Arthur. Just a second. Leave Neil say it first and then you go.
All I want to say is, when the Black Swan came out, that was the beginning of the end.
Well, that was the absolute end. Anyway, 2015, right? 2015, regardless of what changed me so fast, to go from globe to flat. 2015, when there was no Earth curve or measurements of Earth curve that could actually be shown, nobody could show Earth curve. That should have been the end of that. You know what I mean? Logically, you know what I mean? That should be it.
Yeah, there was just happened to be a misunderstanding of mathematics that made people think there was a measurement. Just a mathematical misunderstanding.
Yeah, well, we stood in the argument.
John.
That's the problem.
What was Arthur going to say?
I'm sorry, but I was going to say that now in 2024, if I come up to you with an invitation from a so-called debating platform who are open to discussing the topic of flat earth and debate, they have never entertained this topic before, but now they're open to discussing this topic on their very famous debating platform. Are we not going to go there because there is no debate? Or are we going to go there and present how the earth is measured flat?
I would prefer, when you say debating platform, if they're just a platform, I mean, I would prefer just state to them, no, why don't I just go there and relay the information to you, as opposed to debating with someone who's trying to stop me from relaying that information? Because that's the problem.
No one says stopping. No one's stopping you. Someone is putting up questions to your argument.
In a debate, they will stop you, Arthur. That's what Brian's trying to say.
That's the point. You end up
in a debate, they are going to ask you questions. They are going to ask you questions, and you are going to have to deal with them. So what's the problem in going to a debating
platform? They're going to be presenting things, Arthur, that they're going to be trying to claim to people as evidence of a globe, and they're going to be doing their best to stop you presenting your argument. I don't know, you've surely been in a debate, Arthur.
No,
I'm saying in a debate, they are going to come up with an argument like, your understanding is wrong when you say that level is not curved. And that is the point of debate going to be.
No, that's not
so why are you shying away from that?
No, that's not something that's debatable, Arthur. That's the point. When I'm having a debate with someone about whether a level is curved or not, I'm literally giving their argument some merit.
Right. So what you're basically saying, Brian, is you're going to leave Witsit to go on the premier channels that are actually going to reach the most amount of people and let him be the figurehead to present the flat earth message to all of those people. I see your point. Very good. I guess you work for the enemy.
That's not what I said.
That's what I heard.
What I said is...
Oh, that's what I heard.
Well, let me relay what I said.
I didn't hear that.
No, that's not what I said. What I said is I would say to the person, why don't I just come onto your channel and present the information? There can be questions and whatever and answers from the owner of the channel and the audience, whatever, but let me present the information. Now, if
so that's what my initial question was,
Hang
Brian.
on, I'm not finished. If that is not the case, and they still want to have this debate thing on a big platform, then I will go along with it. But I would prefer to give them the option of the other way first.
Exactly. See, you guys are the problem. Author, AI, used to still in a debate when there is no debate. And that's what's keeping this going on longer than it has to.
No, what Brian basically conceded to is that if the venue wants a debate on the topic, that he'll attend, right? I mean,
if that's the last option, yeah.
But now we're appealing to like CNN, huge platforms, right? Like that's different.
CNN would be a little bit different because CNN would be such a monster. Like I was when it was put to me, I was thinking more like a pretty big YouTube channel. I wasn't thinking a mainstream news channel. At that point, you only like with a YouTube channel, you have some hope of trying to just get on there and relay the information. But a news channel, it's more or less going to be this is the offer, take it or leave it, with one of these big mainstream channels.
Unfortunately for Brian and Discord, this is going to be where we bid them farewell. So another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and Cheapest Panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.